Hi everyone, welcome to Babies with Knives. Today we're going to be playing Maximum Apocalypse RPG with creator Scott Uhls.
Hi there.
I'm Alice Peng, aka Lala Twiddle on the boards, and with me at my table today is going to be Brandon Powers.
Hey, and I'm just wondering, has this been scientifically proven to be the maximum amount of apocalypse that one can pack into a game?
I guess we're going to have to try and scientifically test that theory. We also have with us Dave Ritchie, who's over there with the no camera tonight. Hey Rich.
Hello.
Hey Richie.
Hi, how are you?
Great. I'm excited to have us all here playing. And lastly, but still very, very important, we have Brandon's platonic lifelong companion, Sam, with us.
Hi.
Really awesome to have you around, Sam.
I've got a good feeling about this.
Cool.
Oh.
Maximum Apocalypse is the TTRPG counterpart to a board game by Mike Nade that was kickstarted in 2017. The game is set in a world where multiple worlds or realities have bled into each other through every possible apocalyptic scenario having taken place. That makes for an ever-evolving landscape of locations and monsters that the characters can face as we play. The Kickstarter campaign for this RPG is scheduled for June, so if our actual play intrigues you, make sure you keep an eye out. I'll be sure to leave some ways to keep informed down below in the description. So let's get started.
Cool. Thanks for that intro.
Thank you.
Yeah, Maximum Apocalypse, this is my game. I've been working on it for a couple of years now. But you'll see how good it is or how bad it is, up to you, depending on your opinions. Let's begin. First thing to note when you're playing this game, you will need some percentile dice, like this. And you probably want to have a couple of them, because if you ever have to roll something that's not focusing in, with advantage or disadvantage, you're going to roll an extra one, and that's going to come in for the tens die. And then what you'll do is, if you have advantage, you will pick the higher of the two numbers, in this case 10, because you want to roll as low as possible. And if you have disadvantage, you'll choose, the lower, and then you'll choose the higher of the two numbers, in this case, whatever this is, 80 or 60 or whatever. So that's what you'll do when you're rolling. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Cool. Basically, everything's based off your base stats. So when we're playing, if you have a question on what you're supposed to be rolling, it's generally related to one of the stats on the top of your character sheet. Those stats are their strength, fortitude, agility. I'm trying to roll it off the top of my head. Intelligence, instinct, charisma, fighting skill, ballistic skill, and luck. Each of those is very important. They all play a role. Not a single one is really a dump stat, unless you just want to be bad at something. But otherwise, yeah, they're all pretty good. Cool.
One quick and very important thing for everyone: your luck stat down in your luck points in the middle of the sheet. There will be a number of points that you have. That's the number of rerolls you can use during this session. Make sure you keep that in mind when your dice disagree with you.
Yeah, it's a very nice thing. I can't really see it there, but it's a very nice thing in case you fail. You can re-roll a failure. And some of you, if you're lucky enough, can re-roll many failures or help other people re-roll failures. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to start playing.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into this one then. Today we're playing a game called The Home. You guys will find out what that's all about. Its name has changed a few times. It was originally called The Outpost, so if anyone goes to my YouTube channel, they might see it on there, because it was originally called that. But otherwise, let's begin. There are 4 of you, and you guys have been traveling in this post-apocalyptic landscape for a very long time together, so you all know each other. But maybe you don't know everything about each other, and we'll discuss that in a minute when some stuff happens. But you guys have been traveling together for a while. You've hunted together, you've killed together, you've survived together. And right now, you're in this sort of woody wilderness, heading in a general easterly direction, or actually in this case it would be, easterly direction. And so far you've been, relatively lucky. You've scavenged a few things. You've found some food. You've managed to survive and not encounter a whole lot of enemies or things trying to kill you. So that's pretty lucky so far. But I'm throwing you into something right now. So I want all of you, every one of you, to roll that luck stat that you have to see if you understand how to roll. We're going to roll against that luck stat. And tell me if you get below the number, which is the threshold, or you're below half of that, or below 1/4 of that.
I got 2 degrees with a 24.
Okay.
Super quick question. On my
Yeah.
character's sheet, it's got a 60 luck, a 30 luck, and then a 14. Should that have been a 15, and is that just a print error?
Yeah, that should be a 15. There must be a typo that I.
Cool. That's what I figured, but wanted to just double check.
Yeah.
So for
Big failure.
So for everyone's quick information, your first stat, that big number, is going to be your primary goal. You want to roll that or lower. If you roll below half that big number, which is listed, the value is listed below, that is a 2nd degree or great success. If you roll even a quarter of the first number, which will also be listed as your 3rd number, you will have 3 degrees of success. If you happen to roll an odd 1, that is a crit. If you roll 100, please tell us because you crit failed.
Yes, and to roll 100, you have to roll 0, 0, 0, to be clear, because everyone kind of gets that confused sometimes. Yeah. But a 0, 0, 1, that's good. 0, 0, 0 is bad. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a great success. What else did everyone else roll?
92, not successful.
He's not so lucky.
I also rolled a 92.
Okay, well, that's an interesting place to be. All right, so
let's get names real quick and just a quick description.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that while I work this out.
Yeah, I am playing probably just coming into teenage years. Young kid is dirty in disheveled clothes that kind of go with probably everybody's, but fairly lightweight. You know that I generally am fairly quick on the uptake on things, and I go by the name of Colby.
Okay. For me, I am I'm about 16 to 18. I have auburn hair that is cut really short, spiked up in various places. I'm always wearing a headscarf of some sort of bandana, basically, so it's not covering the spikes of the hair. The hair is always it's hard to tell that it's auburn because I more use motor oil to keep it in place. I'm pretty slim build with very few curves, but rather tall for a girl. And most people call me Nordstrom. And as far as you guys can tell, the only reason is because I was found in a mall as a kid, and nobody knew my name. I didn't know my name, so they just called me the name that was on the store.
Clever.
So I became Nordstrom. And people, you can call me Storm or Strom or Nord. Does not matter to me. So.
Okay. What about the other two? What are your guys' characters' names and descriptions?
I'll go. I'm playing the scientist priest. I will go by the name of Dax. D-A-X-X. Typically, I wear sunglasses. I carry around a couple books. Sometimes I'm reading a science fiction novel. Sometimes I'm reading in my holy book. I'm kind of intelligent, middle-aged, and sometimes I don't know where I am. Sometimes I think I know where I am, but I'm not really sure. I might be displaced in time, sort of thing going on. So sunglasses and books. Awesome. Middle-aged.
Awesome.
Nice.
And what about you, Dave?
Yeah.
So currently I'm the old man of the group. I am playing the fireman archetype and going by the name of Randall Kahn. He's in his early 50s, late 40s, early 50s, and you can tell he's pretty much seen it all. All the horrors and tragedy of this world has weighed down on him a bit. So he's got a little bit of a haunted look in his face, but he's also, he's the guy you want behind you if things are going bad in front of you.
Very cool. Well, you guys were generally pretty unlucky there. Aside from Nordstrom's decent luck roll, you guys did negatives, so that unfortunately offset. So what ends up happening is as you're going through the trees, you come across a couple of zombies. It's this undead thing with pustules on the face and this tongue that sort of hangs out quite a bit. And then a dog that's kind of got facial tearing and the teeth are jabbing out of its flesh. And then two of your regular walkers who both of them have bony hands to claw you, but otherwise the flesh is dripping off and they look very dead but still moving. Their eyes are glazed over. And as you come upon them, unfortunately, they're in short range to you. But you all notice some strangeness in their behavior. However, before you can react to that strangeness, they notice you because you were unlucky. So they're within short range, and they know that you're there. But they're clustered together, which is not usually that common. However, that's not something you're not sure why they're clustered together. It's not clear.
Okay.
I believe one of you has dealt with zombies before, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe this was different.
Two of us have.
Well, I mean, as far as your personal apocalypse goes.
Personal apocalypse. I am a reaper.
Not me,
so
Gov. The ground decided to attack us.
I have dealt with zombies. I'm a reaper.
Got it. So it's the hunter who survived the zombie apocalypse. The rest of you are aware of zombies. Now that you're unfamiliar with them, you are familiar. You know they exist. You've run into them before. You've dealt with them probably here or there. So it does not surprise you that they exist. And Nordstrom has told you about some of the run-ins, but Nordstrom's the more experienced one. This is not unusual for zombies to group together. They tended to work better in packs or groups. But this particular cluster is a bit strange because usually the clusters are similar like zombies, not a smattering of different zombies in one place. But before we could do anything, it's actually, how do you guys want to handle this? What do you guys want to do?
I call out, shoot for the brain, and I'm going to basically jump up and over. Well, on my turn, so I'll wait for initiatives to go off.
Yeah, and I will after we determine if everyone agrees with the idea that you, or if you want to do something else.
I'm pulling my fireman's axe, which I've named Max. Max the axe.
Max the axe. Cool.
Max the axe.
Do you think I would have had an explosives made by now out of my raw chemicals?
You probably don't walk around with one pre-made just because you can make them quickly, and because if you have one pre-made, there's a chance that it might just randomly go off because those are unstable chemicals that you're making it with. I
see. All right. So I will pull my revolver.
Okay.
As Nordstrom calls out, I'm going to basically try and get a little bit of cover to go a bit more unnoticed than the rest of these bigger and older folks.
Okay. All right, so you guys all decide that it's time to fight these guys, so what we'll do is we'll go into a combat round. The initiative in this game is static, so you guys all have initiative, as you see here. I wrote it down. The initiative number is on your character sheet, right about in the middle of the first page. So basically the middle center is where your initiative would be. The number is going to be a static number, like a 14 or a 12 or a 9 or an 8. I know those specific numbers are your guys' specific numbers. That's why I can tell you that. And the way that it works is the combat round is broken into 4 action phases, and the initiative sort of bases off of that. So if you have a 14, you're here, and if you have a 12, you're here, etc. Everyone is going to act, and then what I'll do is I'll -5, like after everyone acts, I'll -5, and whoever still has initiative will get to act again, and -5 again. Whoever has initiative will act, and then so on. So there might be 4 phases, there might be 3, there might be 2, depending on what the makeup of characters is. And then it resets the combat round. So just to note, in this case, there are 2 characters that have 3 action phases in which they can do stuff. And then at the beginning of the next combat round, those 2 will also be the first ones to act again. So there'll be that kind of trade-over where you get to act last and first again. So, starting off, we've got Colby the Thief. Colby, you get to act first.
Like I said, my first thing is going to try and be to stealth away from the group and kind of get a little bit of distance between me and these zombies.
Okay. In a combat round, you can make 2 complex actions and then relatively decent number of free actions. So if you wanted to do the stealth thing, you can easily do that. That's a skill action, and you're moving away, so I would deem that as 2 actions unless you've got something that says you can move for free.
That's fine.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your stealth, and that'll determine what they have to get to see you if they start looking for you.
Okay.
Now, this is based on your agility, so you're going to look
Yep.
at your agility number and roll below that.
2 degrees.
Cool. So
I have a 40 out of 80.
Nice. Okay, so that's a great success. All right, so these guys have to, in order to see you, stealth is a special one where they just have to match you. But if they, so they have to get a great success, though, to notice you on their perception if they start to actively look for you. The only way that they'll get a chance to do that as a reaction is if you hit them with damage, and they get a chance to try to see you again and make this roll all again. Okay, so you're hiding. Nice. Nordstrom, it's your turn. You have 2 complex actions and then, whatever free actions, as long as it's decent, you don't do like 10 of them.
Yep. So my intention is in this terrain of rubble and ruin, I'm going to parkour my way up a nearby wall to perch myself on top of the ledge of it. And I am going to shoot while still in close range to them.
Okay.
I'm going to
this is a wilderness, but I give it to you. You can run up a tree and
Sure,
go up
I'll
on
run up a
a
tree.
lower branch.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. And as I do so, I say, at least they're not clown zombies this time. I got a 30 and an so 0, 0, 0. So the 30 makes it. Ooh, bipolar dice there. So 30 makes it by 2 degrees on the shot.
Okay. All right, and you're shooting at one of the zombies. Which of the zombies? The one with the stuff on its face? The
Yes,
dog
I
or
want the stuff
one
on
with
its
joggers?
face, because the stuff on its face reminds me a little too much of the deadly clown zombies that I had to deal with when I first was found.
Yes, that's a good call. Let's see
okay.
if it can dodge, because it gets to dodge. I'm rolling the wrong 2. It failed on its dodge, so you hit it.
Okay, I did 6 points of damage.
Okay, so here's what happens to that zombie. There's some things that you note. The elongated tongue was a thing that you should have paid attention to, because the elongated tongue can whip out and hit people. And the pustules are also something to pay attention to because they burst and spray spores. However, your shot kills the zombie,
Okay.
but it still bursts. The scientists and the firemen, so Dax and Randall, you 2 are the only ones that are still close to this zombie as it goes. And its pores just break open and this sort of spory dust cloud comes out of it. Both of you will have to make an immunity roll unless you have some reason why you don't need to make an immunity roll, like if you're wearing a gas mask or something.
Sorry, forgot about that.
Sorry, it didn't come to you till after you shot the arrow, and then you're like, oh man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine. So what you'll do is the immunity stat is down again. It's on the middle. It's the center, not the center, but it's on the middle of the character sheet on the first page on the far right side if you're looking at it. The immunity roll is right.
I believe the thief has a personal thing where they are immune to this, though. Check page 2 on the thief.
The thief moved away.
Okay.
Yeah, the thief,
Oh, yeah.
the thief and the hunter are not right there. It's just
Cool.
the fireman.
Well, the 2 of you are.
They haven't acted yet.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah, I do have an oxygen mask, so I'm going to be wearing it.
Okay. And it's hooked to your tank then, or are you just wearing the mask itself? That's up to you. It's your call.
I'm going to say that's not connected to the tank right now.
Okay. All right, so you still need to make the roll, but you get advantage on. So you would roll the 3 dice, and you would choose the lower of the number.
Got it. That would be a 12.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. That's enough. All right, so the scientist, you said you failed?
I
Dax?
failed.
Okay. Probably all right.
It's probably okay.
Yeah, why not? Okay, it is now your action, Dax. You can do 2 complex actions. Now, the complex actions are things like moving, shooting, jumping, running. You just can't attack twice without a special attack option that says like multi-attack.
I just realized on my revolver it says I only have 3 rounds, so ammo is key.
Ammo is key. Yeah.
And I don't have any CP. Is there any way I can back up and scavenge for CP at all?
Yeah, if you want to spend time scavenging as your action during combat, that's fine. I'll allow it. You can only get 1 success though on a salvage roll, so that's just something to note because it's combat.
All right. So can I move out of close range and scavenge?
Yeah, you can move, and then you can do some scavenging.
All right. That's
So
what I'll do.
to roll to scavenge, it's actually a roll. It's basically a special stat. It's in the same. There's that bar of the special stats right below your skills and stuff. And so salvage is in kind of the center of that, right next to initiative.
I see.
So you'd roll for that number, and that determines how much stuff you find if you find stuff.
Unsuccessful.
Man, you're just rolling super high tonight.
Yeah.
That happens. You can if you really feel like it, you can reroll.
Yes. I will spend a luck point. I have 6, so now I have 5. I will re-roll that.
Also, Sam, you have a special power called Deja Vu. You should.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
No. Deja Vu is all of us, we can use our luck to reroll stuff for ourselves. You can say that's not how it happened in my reality, or that's not how it happened in my time, and you can make us reroll stuff if we're having trouble by using your luck.
He still has to use his luck to make that happen.
Yeah, I said by using your luck. Yep. You can spend your luck on us, which is something we can't do for other people.
Yeah. That's just something to know.
All right, so I have a 23, so that's below 31.
Cool. So that's just just a success, right? 1 degree.
No, I have a 62 and a 31. So what do you call that?
A great.
So
success.
It's a great success. However, as I said, so because it's combat, though, you can only get 1 degree of success for the scavenging. But you're looking for component pieces, right?
Yes.
You're just trying to find some stuff to make bullets later.
Yeah.
All right, you find 4 component pieces. It's actually pretty nice. Nice roll. I rolled it for you instead of having you roll it. But it came out all right, so it worked out. Okay, so now to Randall. Randall, everyone seemed to have run away, and however they killed a zombie, but they ran away, and now it's you by yourself.
And there's a dog zombie and what others?
Two human walker zombies. They're like shamble. They're like your classic Romero type zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shall use my trusty axe ability.
Okay.
It allows me to use the called shot, and I will split one of the walkers' heads right down the middle.
So you can do a called shot to the vital area of the walker. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So you're just going to roll your attack with the blades. Should be your fighting skill. It's probably on your character sheet right next to the axe number. I put it in there.
It's okay, there it is.
Yeah, and so you're going to want to get a great success. You're going to want get that second degree in order to succeed on this called shot. Otherwise, you still hit them. It's just a matter of whether you did the cool thing.
Well, very close. I rolled an 18.
Okay. But it wasn't...
Great success was 17, so...
Wait, what is your... Hold on. I think we're reading that wrong.
Might be threshold for a fireman's axe is a 70.
Yep, correct. And then the half number would be 35.
Right, and
so
then...
you got below that.
Yeah, and then quarter would be 17.
Right.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, the great success is the half number. So you needed like that half number. You got that.
Gotcha.
Yep. So let's see if the zombie got out of the way. I doubt it, but let's see. The zombie rolled a 60, which is definitely way above its dodge. So what happens now is when you do this called shot, you're going to increase the damage by 2 damage codes. So your damage for your axe, if you look at your character sheet, is going to be an M is the damage code, right? That's a 2d6 plus 3. But in your case, because you just successfully hit with this called shot, it bumps it up to a D, right? It jumps up 2. So you're going to actually roll 2d8 plus 7 to determine how much damage you did to the zombie.
That's going to be 13.
13. Okay. So this zombie that's more than its life. So how does it die exactly? You wanted to chop its head in 2, but how did you want to make that up?
I swing the axe overhead and hit it like right in the middle of its head, and then just split it like a watermelon straight down.
Just goes down into it.
From up the wall, you hear, "Oh, wait a axe again! Way to accent a question. Blew the landing on that one.
But you all heard like a watery pop gross sound as the axe went into it and split it. Just this sickening noise. However, the zombie dog gets to do something. The zombie dog, having watched this, its friend, as it were, other familiar zombie, get cleaved into, it's going to come at you, Randall, and it's going to try to bite you. So now that you guys are the defenders, let's talk about what you can do when something attacks you. Your characters, everyone that gets attacked can take a defensive action. So it's an interactive thing where there's like an attack and then a dodge, right? So the defensive actions you can do are dodge, full dodge, parry, or riposte. In order to do the riposte and the full dodges, you have to sacrifice some of your current initiative, which might put you down so that you don't get a third action, that kind of stuff, right? A third action phase. The options for dodging and parrying can occur at any time as long as you're not trying to dodge. You can't parry bullets, essentially, is what the only thing that you can't do. So in your case, you can choose either one, to dodge or to parry this attack that's coming from this dog. And I think in your case, you're much better at parrying than you are dodging.
That is correct. Yeah,
Right.
we'll parry it.
All right, so the dog is going to run in and then try to attack. Well, maybe not. Let's see. I am going to the first section of the Dungeon Master's Guide, and it's so. Why don't you go ahead and roll for me a D10, just a regular D10, and tell me what the number is.
That would be a 10.
Okay, roll that D10 twice now, because that's the roll twice.
The 2 and then another 10.
Roll twice again.
A 7 and then a 1.
Okay. So, the zombie dog does a really bad job of trying to hit you. 0. So it ends up sort of going. It misses its attack on you and accidentally hits its ally, which is the 1.
So that's a good question. When he crit failed and then he rolled the 10 and the 10 and the 10, does that mean a lot of extra effects on the... Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the 10,
Way to
the
go,
10
Dave.
is the 10 is a severe failure. Roll twice on this table, both happen. And then so 3 things are going to happen. It misses the attack and hits its friend for 6 damage. It breaks its own claws off, so it can't attack you with those claws anymore. And then it is momentarily blinded by its own attack by getting mud and dirt in its face. So it has disadvantage now to all of its attacks. Basically, this zombie's been out of commission. It's still alive, as zombies are, but it's pretty messed up.
Since it's falling apart and such, it takes a swing. The arm goes flying wild, smacks a friend. Legs are coming apart.
As the axe comes up to block and the claws get chipped off.
Yep, that's exactly how it went down.
That's pretty fantastic.
I agree. You did awesome on that. Best block ever.
Okay. The one of the zombie walkers is going to move toward Nordstrom, who shot an arrow at its friend, because Nordstrom isn't trying to hide, so
But I'm
she's
up.
just visible up there. So it's going to start shambling toward you. It's going to take its movement action. Because it's shambling, it has to take 2 movement actions to move distance. It gets close to you, but that's its whole turn.
Okay.
So now I'm -5 from everyone's initiative. We come back at the top. It's Colby's turn. What do you want to do, Colby?
All right. Go ahead and paint the current scene for me, if you would.
Okay. So right now there's two zombies lying on the ground dead. There's a small cloud that's sort of drifting away. It's not really a problem anymore. Zombie dog is sort of shaking off mud on its eyes, and then there's a shambler making its way toward Nordstrom. But it's at Nordstrom, but Nordstrom's up off the ground, so it can't really do anything right at the moment. But it is hurting her.
I am going to go ahead and take a shot at that zombie dog.
Okay. The zombie dog does not know you're there, so it doesn't get to dodge. So
Okay.
go ahead
And
shoot.
since I backed away and they were at close first, I would now be at advantage with my bow?
Correct. Yeah, because now it's farther away.
It's gone from close to short.
Okay, well, that's a 20, so that is going to be 3 degrees of success.
Cool. It doesn't get to dodge, so that's a successful hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay, so the damage on the bow is normally A, so that's 2d4. Eight.
Okay, so this sad, pathetic zombie dog that is all beat up takes 8 damage as an arrow. Is that correct?
Yes.
Strikes it in a pretty vital area. What happens to it as it crumples to death?
As it lets out a zombie guttural combo moan growl with its mouth slavering open, tongue hanging out, an arrow pierces it, picking it up stem to stern, kind of pushing its skull back in and then pinning it to the ground through the rib cage, and just kind of collapses over with the arrow still propping it up partway.
Nice. All of its little skin flaps dangling.
Now, you can only attack once, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
You can take 2
So-
counterparts, but only one of them can be attacked.
Was pulling my recurve bow, could I have done that while moving? Is that an action?
So technically, that's the retrieve item action. So that would have been
Okay.
an action, unless you wanted to roll agility to see if you quick drew it off of your pack. or
No,
something.
I'm concerned with having stayed hidden and being
Right.
able to get a shot off on them. So
Now-
I'm good like that.
Now, here's where the stealth is something to note that's different from games that people might be familiar with. In some games, when you attack from stealth, you automatically are unstealthed, right? Like you're not stealthed anymore. Not in this game. The stealth, you remain stealth at that level that you were unless you hit something. And then they get a chance to try to see you, and then we re-roll the stealth and their perception, right? But since you killed the thing that saw you, that negates that. Doesn't matter anymore. So you're still
Awesome.
hidden from the other things on the battlefield.
One last question. In the traits for my recurve bow, I have a DC mod max of +1,
Mhm.
and then it says EAG +2. Can you
Yeah.
translate that into English?
Yeah, so the DC mod max 1 means that if you had a DC +1, like a DC mod +1 because of your size,
Okay.
like if you're a bigger character, you could apply that to this bow, but only 1. If you had 2 or 3, you can only apply the 1. And the EAG is the sound that it makes when it goes off. So when it goes doom, right, it makes a sound. And that can be negated with things like dampeners and stuff.
Gotcha. Cool.
And so bow sounds less than, say, a gun.
Yeah, so like the firearm, I think the lowest amount that a firearm does, I think, is like a 3 or 5 or something like that. But a bow is going to be quieter than that just because it is quieter. It's not as quiet as an axe, because an axe makes no noise as it swings through the air and hits stuff.
Until it connects, and then, the skull...
Yeah, and then you
cracking.
get fleshy bits, which is the sound. So the EAG is the thing that I use to track sound and movement and actions to determine if you guys get randomly attacked or you get seen or heard. A battle itself adds a +5 regardless of what happens during the battle, because of all the sounds of like things dying and stuff. Yeah. Cool. All right, so now it goes to Nordstrom. It is your action, Nordstrom.
Okay, I'm going
There's a
to
zombie
scurry
below
my
you.
way up higher on this
Mhm.
wall to maintain up the tree. So I'm going to scurry up higher onto the branches of this tree to maintain my short range from this thing.
You're
And
parkouring.
I'm going to parkour my way, jumping up tree branch to tree branch, and
Yeah.
then I'm going to swing myself on top, perch down, and I'm going to call shot to the eye.
Okay. Same deal as with the other called shot. You just have to get a 6. Now you will roll a disadvantage. By the way, I forgot to mention that before, because the called shot puts you at disadvantage.
Okay, so that
But-
means I just leave it out because I have an advantage from
Because
being
you have
short.
advantage. Yep,
So straight
correct.
up, 100. I got a 30. 30 straight up is 2 degrees.
Okay, let's see if the zombie does that. The zombie gets a 49. That is not a successful dodge.
Okay.
Uh,
So I get 2 degrees up from H. That makes it an E, so it becomes a D8 plus 7.
correct.
And that is 9 points of damage.
Okay, that's a pretty significant hit to the zombie. You could tell that it did a significant amount of damage, but it is still clinging to its unlife. but the arrow is stuck through its eye and out the back of its head, disoriented it even more.
Mr. Brainstem.
It stumbles backwards slightly, and then as it seems to reach this point, which is kind of what you noticed before this fight broke out, that these zombies were saying sort of they weren't going past a certain point. It's almost past that point, and it makes this moan, like this angry moan, as if it got hit by something, shakes its head and steps forward back away from that spot. And now it's the scientist's turn. Dax, it is your action.
Okay. Well, these things are very stinky. This is not me. So I'm going to run away up a tree. Hide up a tree.
Cool. So you're going to take a movement action, just going to climb. I'm just going to make 2 movements just to climb
So
up.
you said this is my offensive action?
This is your regular actions, your normal actions that you would do during action phase.
So this isn't a time to full dodge?
No, not at all. Full dodge would be something you would do when you got attacked.
Yeah, okay. So I just realized I am not a combat character.
You are not.
So either I can go in there and melee it, or I could hide and run away and try to be defensive. So I will try to... hey, guys, how do you think we're going?
You could also make your bombs, remember?
Yeah, there's another
Those
thing
bombs
that
are awesome.
you can make a bomb. The other thing you can do is you have a skill called, this is another thing that works out really well, a skill called command. And with command, you could tell other people to do stuff they were already going to do, but you sort of aid them in it by saying, like, shoot that zombie in the face! And then you roll that, and each degree of success adds a +5 to their action.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't understand that. I was thinking my social skills do not apply in combat.
They do, in fact. They're useful. But a lot of the skills are actually useful in combat.
And while you aren't great at delivering the bombs, you are great at making them, and I am great at delivering them, as are everybody else at this table, basically. So you make the bomb and figure out which one of us to deliver it. And, but yeah.
All right, so who hasn't gone this round yet?
Randall.
Randall hasn't, and then Brandon and I still have a third action in this round, on the third phase, while you two are done. So this is the last action you're going to get on this round. Brandon and I are going to get one more, and Dave has one more.
Okay, so who's closest to me that I can make a bomb and give a bomb to and say, hey?
If you're up a tree, probably me, since I'm also up a tree.
She went up a tree, yeah.
Okay, so I will go to Nordstrom and take some beakers, mix them together, and make something and looks like plastic. Hey, be careful, and blow these zombies back into wherever they came from.
Okay.
Yep, that's totally something you can do as your action. Okay, so let's go to Randall.
So, we just have the one zombie left.
The one zombie left. Yes, that's correct.
So yeah, I'm gonna swing for him.
Okay. Close the distance and swing at that guy. No problem.
Yep. Hold on, just a second. All right. Well, that's a 61. So
that hits.
That's
Let's see
the first one.
See if he dodges. Oh, he's already dodged before, so he's at disadvantage anyway. Yeah, it's 65 or 65, so he misses. So you hit him. Go ahead and roll your damage, which is this case, I think. What was it? 2d6. Yeah, 2d6 plus 3.
Yeah, 2d6 plus 3. That will be a 9.
Okay, so this zombie also does like its friend, except that you weren't calling shot at its head. So how do you hit this guy as he does?
So I think that I think I'm coming up behind him, and I just swing at its head and probably take it off at the neck.
Okay. So you just decapitated a simple decapitation, not an impressive, amazing decapitation, just a simple one.
Yeah, nothing flashy or anything. Just you get the job done.
Right. And it was mostly dead anyway, so from that arrow that was jamming through its eye. So you take it down, and that ends the combat because there's nothing else for you guys to fight.
Okay.
But as the last zombie goes down, some of you are noticing that the spot that the zombie was not going past, right? These zombies are sort of staying away from, and this one sort of passed and then did a thing. Just beyond that, a little distance away, there's a house sitting there. It's a standard 3-story antebellum house with a fence around it, like a chain link fence, and a low wall. And you can just see that there's activity going on over there. By that I mean that there's water jugs on top of it, and there's smoke coming out of the chimney.
I will hand the bomb back so he can take it apart again, back to its component parts for the moment. I'm going to use my perception to see if I can spot movement in that area.
Sure.
Ooh, 15. That's 3 degrees of success.
Cool.
I'm really good at spotting, so.
So you're looking out toward it, and you don't see any movement, as it were. But what you do see is there's a American wolfhound. Wait, is it American wolfhound? Hold on. American. I wrote it down somewhere. A particular dog type I chose. Well, it's an American dog of some kind. It's sitting on the porch. It is clearly not a zombie. It is just a regular looking dog. And the windows are all boarded up, which is why you don't see any movement. There seems to be doors on the windows. That's what you get by looking at it. Like someone has put doors up over the windows.
Okay.
But other than that, the dog is alive. It's just apparently sleeping. It's got that sleepy dog look to it.
While she's looking around at this, I'm by all means paying attention to the surroundings, but I definitely want to go scavenge and see if I can recover my arrow.
Yeah,
or her
absolutely.
arrow, for that matter.
Yeah, you can try to go scavenge the arrows. Go ahead and roll.
Okay, so...
Yeah, that was my next concern. But since I'm up a tree right now, I've got good spotting.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the skill I'm rolling?
You're rolling the salvage special stat. It's right there next to your initiative. So you use to find stuff. In this case, you're trying to find your arrows. If you get however many successes will determine how many arrows you find.
Well, that's a failure.
Okay, so all of the arrows were too damaged for you to be able to damage them. Unless you want to try to luck that.
Nah.
Yeah. They were all a little too damaged to be able to recover them. Or perhaps they were recoverable, it seemed, until you went to recover them, and then they snapped off in the process. They just didn't work out very well.
All right, I curse the dog and kick it as it breaks my arrow upon trying to extract it.
Yeah.
So I was also thinking of scavenging to see if these zombies have anything useful on them.
Okay, one thing to note is that if you get close to these zombies, you're going to have to make that immunity roll again, because even though they're dead, they still do have the Z virus. So that's just something to note. I didn't really roll it this time, but you can scavenge. I'll let you do it without making you roll, because it didn't make him roll. So
he doesn't need to. He's immune. The thief's
he has advantage to it.
Okay, I thought he was immune.
He has to connect the gas to the mask to his oxygen tank in order to be immune. But he can do that if he's going to try to scavenge some zombies.
No, I thought Brandon is immune.
No, I just have advantage, Alice, on all immunity rolls.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm healthy.
Healthy.
Not having too much information on zombies, I'm probably not going to know to connect the oxygen tank. So
plus the oxygen mask worked fine when you had that mist, so why would it matter with a dead body?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's an 88 on my scavenge, so I find nothing.
Yeah, you don't find anything useful from these guys.
Cool.
Well,
all right, so you see this house, you see all the stuff going on, you have these dead zombies. Do you guys want to look into it more and find out what's going on?
Yeah, I want to head over to the house carefully. I'm going to be stealthing, and I'm going to let my group know. There's a dog on the porch, so be quiet and downwind, or upwind, whichever one is the wind going the opposite way. And I'm going to
Cool.
stealth up. I don't want to disturb that dog. My stealth was...
I'm gonna head out with Nordstrom on the stealth.
Okay. You guys both roll your stealth.
My stealth was on the dot.
Critical.
You rolled a 001?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, nice. Nordstrom, you feel like someone's following you, but you don't see them.
I'm all creeped out, so I'm barely succeeding because I'm all creeped out suddenly.
I mean, I assume that this is a fairly regular occurrence. Being the first rolls is just like, I always know that Colby's there. Colby is. All right, so you guys get to a point where the clearing sort of becomes a gap that someone has intentionally made between the low wall and the fence and the trees, right? So this low wall fence thing and then the trees, there's a gap there. You're stealthing, so you do know that as you get closer, there are movement sensors connected to blinding lights or floodlights that will flood the area with light, but you don't trigger them because you guys are doing such a good job of being stealthy that you're not triggering it, but you do realize that they're there. And so the others, if they were to walk up without being stealthy, they'll probably set them off, and then there'll be this big light, and then the stealth won't matter anymore. But you see that there's also some charred zombies that look pretty old. Like, they're not recent charred zombies. They're just, like, old charred bodies. But they have all the features of zombies, like bone for fingers, like scarred facial structures that don't look like burn marks, but something else, right? And you can see that now this house, you see that the space between the fence and the house seems to be well maintained. Behind the house, there appears to be a small garden. You can't see a whole lot of it, but there appears to be a garden there. And then out in the distance, there's this burned field behind the house. It's clearly been burned on purpose to make open space, and there's a barn there out in that distance. Yes. I'm
going to that garden and looking for food.
The garden's inside the fence area, so you'd have to go through the fence into the yard. And to do that, you've got to approach the fence.
Okay.
Do you approach the fence?
Before I approach the fence, I'm going to be doing some tracking. I'm going to
Sure.
track my way up to that fence. I make it by 1 degree.
Okay. Tracking is used to track animals and people, or are you tracking some footprints up to the house?
I want to track footprints and movement and such up around the fencing in the house, get a general idea of why they might be avoiding the fence. If things stop abruptly, so get an idea based on movement patterns in the area.
I am going to look at something real fast.
Sure.
Are there the remains of thousands of moths that have hit the bug zapper of the fence type thing?
Exactly.
Yes, that's exactly what you see.
Okay.
Can I use my animal ken to just kind of get a feel for if this dog is likely to be the guard dog type or the, hey, you're my friend?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And that's 1 degree of success.
Okay. This dog it's lazing on the porch. You get the feel from it by its lazing that it's not like in guard mode. So it's probably more like a family pet than a guard dog. That's what it feels like. The whole house in general, this whole deal, aside from it being an apocalypse, and aside from there obviously being like jugs of water on the roof, it appears as though, this is more of a house, like a family household, not like a compound run by survivalists. That's the feel you get. Just looks like a lazy afternoon for this dog on the porch, for sure.
Okay. So I'm going to where is our scientist at the moment? Where is Dax?
I'm probably hanging out just beyond the tree line, knowing that you guys went off to investigate. So I'm hanging out with Randall. I've taken apart my bomb, and I'm scouting out, and I'm trying to figure out with medicine what's my condition with these spores.
Yeah, let's jump to you guys. Randall, did you move closer?
No. Well, a little, but not to where I'm going to be outside of the tree line.
Got it. So the question is, did you move past that point that the zombies were avoiding?
I'm going to say no, not yet.
No. So you're still back by where the zombies are dead.
Yeah, because I'm trying to watch and see what happens next. Because I know that
Alright.
those two were stealthing up closer. So
Yep. And they're a
Yeah.
distance away, so you're not exactly at the same place then. If the scientists at the tree line, you're a bit farther back from that.
got
Just
it.
want to be clear. There's a reason why I asked that, and you'll find out in a little while.
Oh joy.
Okay.
Well, I want to be with Randall. So
Okay.
So,
So
we
you'd be farther
need,
back?
we need to agree where we're at.
Right.
So,
Where do you want to be?
do we have a reason for staying where we are, or do we have a reason for moving forward?
The only reason I was staying behind was to watch and see what the two stealthies do next.
And to be clear, I'm not asking if you guys are outside the tree line. You can still be inside the tree line. I'm just asking if you moved closer to the location than from where you fought the battle.
Seeing the house, I'm spory, and they went off to investigate. I don't think we would have moved forward. I think we would just kind of remain in the area. I don't know how much
Okay.
we would have wandered at all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. All right. So the answer to your question about where the scientist is, he's a little ways back at where you guys fought the zombies.
Okay. At that point, then I'm going to take pieces of my tent, because my tent has metal pieces to it, and I'm going to borrow some parts from it. I'm going to craft something to short out the electric fencing, or to redirect enough of the electric fencing electricity so that I have a safe area.
Okay. There's a gate there in this side that you guys are on. So if you wanted to try to go through the fence, your best option would be to go through that gate.
That's
right?
what I'm going to do.
Instead of trying to cut it.
Yep. At disadvantage, I get it by 1 degree.
That was to take it apart and use it as a tool and bypass it with.
To make something that I can redirect electricity with.
Yeah, you could craft a thing that does some sort of weird, electrical arcing so that it circles back on itself and leaves a gap of unregulated circuitry, electricity.
Awesome. And then
Cool.
I'll quietly open the gate and assume Colby's near me and motion for Colby that we can go through.
Okay. All right. So you guys are entering this property. What was your stealth success, by the way? What was it again? I forgot.
Critical.
Yeah, critical for you. What about?
I made it 1 degree.
Okay. Okay. So the dog pokes its head up. 1 degree is only 1 degree. It got 3 degrees. So it pokes its head up and just sniffs, and then looks in your general direction, and then starts to just howl, not like an angry howl, but like a dog howl. People, right? And it starts wagging its tail and gets up off the porch. As that happens, you hear some shouting from inside the house. And what do you guys do?
Do we hear that shouting where we are at?
You guys are too
Probably
far
hear the
away
howling,
shouting,
at least.
but you hear the howling, yeah.
Yeah, hearing the howl, I think I want to start moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah,
towards
I
the
agree.
house.
We would move together, cautious.
All right. Randall, as you move forward past that point where the zombies were doing their staying away from point, you feel a pressure in your head. It's nothing too strong. It's just a pressure that might lead to a headache soon. But you can just feel it, and it's constant. Yeah, that's the thing that's happening to you.
Okay, do I sense anything's wrong with Randall?
You do not sense anything at all. Yeah, it's not a thing that affects you. All right. Those of you, so those guys are coming towards you. What about to have gone past the gate?
I'm gonna wait for Colby to go past me first.
Okay.
Sure. I'm going to basically try and entice the dog to, being on good behavior with me.
Sure.
1 degree of success.
Oh, okay. I mean, the dog's not really resisting. It didn't really think you were a threat to begin with.
Yep.
And so the dog, comes down off the stairs and it's just wagging its tail, ready to play. Maybe picks up like a random errant stick that's like really small because it's been chewed up and played with before. This dog is obviously your friend.
Cool. Oh, who's a good boy? Ain't you a good boy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
As you guys get to the tree line to get closer to the property, a person comes out. This person is an older man. He's pretty tall and lean. He's got angular features, and he's got black hair on the top, but there are some streaks of gray along the sides. He's carrying a rifle, but he's carrying it sort of at the low ready, where it's like pointed downward. He's not really carrying it like he's aiming at you guys. But he comes out, and he's surprised to find you inside of the fence line. The dog is getting rid of Colby's, stealthiness because the dog is already playing. And you guys are just visible at this point. But the gate is open, which is something that he notices immediately. He just goes, "How did you get past the gate?" And he's confused more than anything.
Oh, we unlatched it. I'm Colby. How you do, Gov?
I'm Graham. This is my house. What are you doing here?
And who's this good boy? Who's this good boy?
I'm staying hidden.
That's Pepper, he says. And as he starts to try to answer you, before he can actually say the words, there's this rumble off in the distance. Very loud rumble, which calls everyone's attention, including him, to it. There are some gray and green clouds in the distance, and they're arcing with a blue lightning. It's a pretty heavy storm that's far off. It looks like it's probably going to be rolling in for the next couple of hours. And so he looks back at it, and then looks back at you guys slowly. Are you looking for shelter?
Oh, by all means, we didn't know about the storm coming, but we were moving through the woods and saw your house, so I figured that we'd come up and take a look. I got some friends back there. You can see Dax and Randall.
Yeah, you guys get to the tree line about that time.
I'll poke my head up from the nearest tree stump that I'm hiding behind that he didn't see. And they call me Nordstrom.
Oh, there you are, Nordstrom. I knew she was around somewhere.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just a little thrown off. Usually, when people get to the fence, they back off when they notice it's electrocuted, but I see you're a crafty bunch. Figured out how to get past it.
Gotta be to survive in these lands.
You got a problem with people somewhat rotten, somewhat still moving?
Yeah, we've got a tremendous problem with them. They hoard around here pretty significantly. That's why my sister built that resonator psychic oscillator thing that we keep out in the barn.
The what now?
The what?
It's a psychic resonator counter oscillator. That's what she called it. She's the genius. I'm just the water and farming guy. But
I'm in your boat.
I'm in your boat. Well, I know a little about electricity, but nothing called psychic something oscillating.
I don't know. It keeps the radar signals from bouncing off of our house. It just sort of counters them so that the robots don't overhear, and it makes the zombies go crazy. So I don't know what she did exactly. She's got a bunch of books in the library that she marked.
Anything that'll keep clown zombies out, I want in. I want to learn all about it. Can we make personal ones to keep them away from me personally?
I mean, if you can make heads or tails of her notes, you might be. But here's the deal. She's not with us anymore. Unfortunately, she got attacked by zombies, and she did not think she was going to make it, so she left. I'm pretty sure that she has gone.
I'm sorry to hear about that, Ghost.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't suppose she was wearing a blue dress last time you saw her? Referencing one of the zombies we killed.
I think she was, actually.
Oh, I'm really
We ain't seen her
sorry.
then.
Yeah, well, it was inevitable, I think. We didn't have a doctor. All right, so
We have
I'm
a
not the...
doctor. Dax! Dax, they need a doctor!
Wherever we were, we'll hurry up.
Yeah, you guys can get... You guys are at the gate now. Graham walks down off of his porch and goes toward the gate. As soon as you guys are all inside, he pulls off the thing that you used to short circuit the gate, and then he closes it very carefully. After he disables the battery, obviously, keeping it electrocuted. So there's an electrician himself closing the gate.
I reach out for my parts back.
He hands it back to you,
Thanks.
and then locks the gate up and reconnects the battery. He says, my family's not the kind to leave survivors or stragglers out in storms that are rolling in, because those could be deadly for everyone. But if you're going to stay here, then I have to ask you to do the same thing that I ask everyone who stays here. I'm going to have to ask you to, first off, not hurt my family. I think that's a pretty obvious one. And secondly, I'm going to have to get something from you. Something that I can give back to you when you leave. Something worth your while. Note, he means something for CP or...
Well, I got something here that I don't have too much use for a lot of the time. But maybe it'll do you some good, and I'll give him my rechargeable battery. You're set up a bit more to be able to use things like this. You can get it charged again, but I don't really have anything that does that on the road.
I'll pull a glow stick. It's worth 7 CP. In case your electricity goes out. In case your generator goes out.
Okay.
Least I can do for a little shelter.
Chargeable battery and some glow stick, yeah. Mm-hmm. What else you guys gonna give him? Just 2 more of you.
I will give him. I'll give him a. Well, he doesn't have an. Hey, are you able to make use of
Bombs?
Bombs? Does he have that skill?
4 CP.
Do you think would this be useful to you?
I mean, anything that'll kill the stuff that tries to come into my yard, definitely.
All right. Well. Here's this type of a chemical and this type of component, and it goes in like this. And if you ever see
hydrochloric acid, and
just do this really quick and throw it their direction and hope for the best.
He looks at this series of chemicals you've given him, and he kind of looks back at his gate, which you guys just bypassed and came through, and you can see that he's sort of contemplating leaving this as like a tripwire kind of explosive at his gate in case someone gets past it again. Okay. And he just kind of goes, "Okay. All right, I see where you're going with this."
Yeah.
I take my 2 hatchets out, lay them on the table, or hand them over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's those are extremely useful. I'll definitely hold on to those.
I call those 2 Eenie and Meanie.
Eenie and Meanie, those are good names. Okay, well then why don't you come on side and meet the family and the other 2 stragglers that came by earlier today. That storm looks bad. I don't know when it's going to hit us, but it's bad. And as he says that, you guys see again, it's just some lightning strikes and some different cloud movements. You've seen storms like this before. You've never been in one, so you're not sure what it's going to be, except for Dax. This kind of looks familiar. You've seen this before.
Is this part of the time vortex conundrum?
There certainly seems to be some temporal fluctuations going on there.
Well, this looks familiar. Do I recall anything using my science ability?
I mean, you can go ahead and this would be academics if you wanted to roll that. You would maybe have advantage on it. Let me look real fast. I don't know that you do because I think you're just displaced.
I'm just proficient in academics.
Right. Yeah, you don't. So just go ahead and roll academics and you can see if you see anything.
So just roll intelligence?
Yeah.
30. Oh, wait. That's a 0. Sorry, the 003. I rolled a 3.
Ooh,
okay.
That's 3. Nice.
That's great. Yeah, that's definitely a temporal storm. Like, it's probably got lightning and stuff involved in it, but there's definitely swirly temporalness. The solution is to get inside of something, or in like a cave would be best. But like inside of a building is probably going to at least contain you to a point in space. If not time, then at least space. And so when it's over, you might be okay.
Yeah, this is a time storm, and we better go inside and seek shelter. Probably not on the 3rd floor.
I pull out my comic book. It's this beaten up issue of Flash. I'm like, Time Storm, eh? He dealt with one of those at one point. Created it, maybe.
Does your book tell us how to protect ourselves from it?
Run real fast, go back in time, and fix it before it ever happened.
I relace my running shoes to make sure I'm okay.
Do you got a trick for that, Dax?
I think the best thing we could do is just wait it out and hope for the best.
Okay, well, I'll tell you all a story while we're in there. Sound good? And you, Peppa, come on with us, Peppa.
Graham looks up at Graham looks up at the 3rd story, and then he looks at you and he says, "Shouldn't sleep on the 3rd story, huh?" You can tell that there's obviously a room up there.
I from my back pocket, I take out my ExxonMobil trucker's hat, and I slick back that oil, that greased hair, and I put it on backwards, feeling like I need a little protection from the weather.
Okay. You guys go in the house then, I assume?
Mm-hmm. I go inside.
So once you're inside the house, you're basically brought through a foyer. While you're going in, you guys can see that there's like a little windmill on the roof, stuff like that. But you go inside, there's a foyer there, and Graham takes his rifle. He takes the ammo out of it. He only has 2 bullets. He takes out of the rifle, puts them in his pocket. Then he sets the rifle next to the door, along with a couple of baseball bats hanging up. This is clearly where they store their weaponry in case they have to grab it on as they rush out the door. But the foyer,
the axes down there too. The hatchet.
Yeah, he puts all of the weapons he's got. He puts down there. He doesn't put the bomb down there. He's not sure what to do with that. Well, it's not a made bomb, right? It's chemicals to make a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not quite sure how to handle that right now. But
out of respect, I will put my recurve bow down with it. But I will keep my 45 auto hidden on my ankle.
Oh, I'm not putting my bow down. Some people take stuff when it's not attended, you know.
Yeah, if he didn't ask, I'm keeping my stuff on me. Obviously, I've holstered my weapon, and
he doesn't ask you guys to remove your weapons and leave them at the door.
Okay.
He recognizes that you might not feel safe, and so that's fine.
Okay, I will take my bow and I will strap it to my back to show that it's not going to be, something I'm pulling out.
Yeah. So you come through the front door, and this house is kind of simply designed. So you walk through this, you come into a hallway, and you can see that there's a door, there's like a room off to your left, and there's a room off to your right. The hallway curves a little bit, and then it goes straight back near the back of the house where there's some more doors. You come in the first room that you come to, the one on the left, is a parlor. And it looks like it would have been a comfortable sitting room in the past, but everything has been pushed against the windows, and there's boards that appear to be the doorways. There are no doorways that you can see on this floor. Or there's doorways, but there's no doors on those doorways. The hinges have been removed now. The doors are up against the windows, and all of the tables have been pushed against the windows as well. There are some slits in them that appear to be like for pointing a weapon out, like a rifle, to shoot through that stuff. But everything is sort of protected. The windows in this room are smashed outward. However, the next room you come to is a library, and the windows in that room are not smashed. So the windows are still intact, but there are boards on them as well. So the glass is still there. The library has a bunch of books in it, and there's basically a big bookshelf on the south end of the room that takes up the whole wall, and then there's a smaller bookshelf, and then there's like a little table in there for people to sit and read. There's a bunch of books stacked up on it. They all seem to be technical or medical in nature. They all were from the community college. With the labels that they have on them, you feel like they were all sort of taken from the community college nearby somewhere when the apocalypse happened and no one's paying attention anymore. That's the feeling you get. There's a staircase in this room as well that goes. And he just leads you into the third room in this place, which is the dining room. That room, aside from the doors on the windows, that room looks like your typical pre-apocalypse dining room. There's a big table in the center. There's a bunch of stuff on the walls. There's pictures, and there's like a mounted like head, and there's like an old like rifle thing. It looks like it was from some old war, and it says something about a colonel and something about defending the Union or whatever. And then it just has pictures of like the family or a family. But from all the pictures, you can tell that they all have the same sort of angular features as this guy Graham that you've met.
And does one of them look like one of the zombies we killed out there? Or more?
Go ahead and roll luck for me.
Sure.
And if luck says that that's the case.
98.
Okay. You guys are unlucky, which means that yes, it was.
Okay.
One of them looks like, but not like an older, but like a very young version, like a child version of one of the zombies that you killed out there.
Okay.
And the same with like, there's an angular featured kid who looks like a very young version of Graham.
Okay.
So these are probably old photos. But in that room are two people that are sitting at the table, and they don't look like Graham at all. They're also adults. They look like survivors. There's a person that of gender you can't tell, who has just like a very spotty complexion with different sections that look like they're slightly different colors. Now, it doesn't look like a mutation; just looks like that's just how their skin is, some kind of normal genetic deformity. And then the other person, and they're very small and gaunt, and they're wearing a bunch of gear that looks like they have armor and stuff on. The other one is a very big person. He's huge. He's got dark eyebrows and a very dark face. But he seems to be laughing as if he just told a joke that only he thought was funny, because the other person is not laughing as you guys come into the room. Graham looks at both of you and says, this is Daxton and Samson. They came here earlier today. And I forgot to ask your names, but because I was more concerned about the storm. But who are you? What are your names?
Oh, we gave our names. We called out because we called him Dax. You
called Dax, yeah.
Yeah. Brandon introduced himself as Colby, and then I stepped out and introduced myself. But Brandon introduced those two, and then I introduced myself. So.
That's right. You guys did say your names. Mm-hmm. That's true. I forgot. Okay. Well, this is Dax.
Time storms kind of get in the way of remembering that kind of stuff, I think.
In that other reality, we gave our names, but we'll give our names again. I'm Nordstrom.
Colby, pleasure to meet you, Govs.
Hey, I'm Dax. We just dealt with this pack of zombies outside, and we came in. Thank you so much for your shelter. And we really got to stick together, and I'd like to use my charm skill to really show them that we were all on the same side here.
Go for
it. So how do I do that, charm?
You're just going to roll your charm, which is charisma. So you're going to try to roll into that charisma number.
Or I'm trying to be generally likable if I can provide him an assistance.
I am successful.
That's fine. He just needed that success is fine enough. He's pretty convincing. You're pretty nice. It seems like you guys are probably telling the truth and not trying to like murder everybody. So yeah. So
I just hold out my hand and say Randall.
Cool. So Samson gets up and he's like handshakes really heavily, pats people on shoulders. He stands quite a bit taller than most people, except for Randall. Randall, you and he sort of, match in size quite a bit. He's still a little bit bigger than you, but, big people stick together kind of feel to him. And so the other guy, however, the other person, just doesn't really get up, just kind of nods. Is really quiet, very silent. You get that stoic feeling from that person.
I am going to, for lack of a better term, be casing the room. I want to just kind of get an idea of, in a pinch, what's usable and what's not. So salvage with my eyes if I need to grab and do stuff if things are going bad.
Yeah. The room is mostly just trinkets and stuff. There's not really anything tremendously useful. You could break a lot of this stuff down into components for sure. There are definitely other rooms in this floor, but aside from that rifle, everything else just looks like it's just random junk. You could probably use it as a tool to beat somebody with. But otherwise, Or you could break it apart, sure, and use it for other things.
Any
But the
of it,
rifle is
you know,
probably the best
conduct
thing.
electricity, can hold things, stuff like that. You know, any
Yeah.
useful. Okay.
Yeah, you can, like I said, you can break a lot of it down into stuff to use for different. So you think, yeah, you know, in a pinch, I could probably take this picture frame apart and use this frame as a metal conductor,
Okay.
or like that's got a wood backing. However, as you're looking around, you hear sounds from a door that's in this room that leads to another room that you guys haven't been to, and you can hear voices in there, and it sounds like a small child and a woman talking.
I look to Samson. Wife and kid? Point to the room.
You mean Graham?
Graham,
Not
yeah,
Samson.
sorry.
Samson's the big guy, yeah.
Your wife and
Graham
kid?
was, oh, yeah, sorry. Why don't we meet with the wife and tell her there's going to be more people here?
Sounds like you got a full house here, Gov.
Well, yes. We managed to survive pretty well. This farm was well stocked with, you know, it was harvest season when the zombies started coming around. We had food. We were gathering up all kinds of food, so we were able to survive at least a while before we had to replant. We had more than enough food for the few of us. So we were able to maintain that. But then my sister was trying to make sure that we were safe. We had the wall, but we built the fence afterward. We just decided electricity was our best option. We've been pretty lucky. We've been pretty lucky for sure.
Yeah, electricity was one of the first things to go where I'm from. You know, the ground seized up on us, and not a whole lot of places made it through. Electricity was always a risk of fire, bad lines, stuff like that.
Yeah, and we were lucky that we were a farm.
Well, Randall and Colby, they found me a couple years ago. I've been pretty lucky to be found. Otherwise, I was...
Oh, yeah, I was like 8 then.
Yeah. Well... That's why Colby's like a sister to me. My character's actually getting awkward like I am right now. Because I'm like, yeah, But yeah, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Randall and Colby.
Yeah, we survivors stick together. I understand that. I'm glad we could help you out through this storm. Why don't we go meet the wife? Whoever wants to meet my wife, one of you should probably come and explain how many of you there are and how much you eat. She's going to be very concerned about how much you eat.
Well, they tell me that I'm a growing girl right now, so I eat a lot, unfortunately.
I eat twice as much as her.
Great.
You know, we're both teenagers. You're dealing with two teenagers.
Going to be quite angry. We have a teenager too. Let's come introduce you guys. So he goes through the door and he expects the younger two to follow him. He doesn't know about the rest of you.
I'll follow him.
Okay. Yeah. Whoever wants to follow.
No reason to stay behind.
Yeah. So you guys all come in with him. It's a fairly large, well set up kitchen. This is like this farmhouse kitchen was designed to be just like a space where the wife could just do whatever she wanted there in the kitchen wise. You know, there's all kinds of prep areas to, you know, clean up chicken that they've killed, you know, take care of stuff like that. So it's really nice in here, and everything is pretty clean for it being an apocalypse. It's a lot cleaner than stuff you've been dealing with for the last few years. They just happen to be super lucky. Apparently they know how to make natural cleaning solutions, so that's a thing. But you come in and you find a woman who's about the same age as Graham. She a little bit younger, maybe, but basically the same age. And then a child who is smiling but has discolored teeth because, you know, toothpaste aren't anymore. This kid is about 7, 8-ish, so, you know, not too much younger than some of you, apparently. You know, fairly youngish. Kid smiles and is, but there's more people. And she turns around to see you all and just goes, "Oh, Graham, why more? What do you guys do?"
I seeing how clean this place is, I'm going to clean my hand on my clothes real quick, and which are also dirty as a reminder, and I'm gonna put my hand out to her, and I'm like, We was walking through the woods and came upon your place. Your wonderful dog Peppa and your nice husband. They invited us in. My name's Colby, ma'am.
Kobe, are you gonna
And
be eating my food?
I've got a little myself that I don't mind kicking into the pot, but we were willing to do some sort of work for it by all means. You had a couple of wanderers, a little bit rotten, but still moving outside. We dealt with those.
um, I take my hat off and I'm like using it as a fidget spinner. I'm like crunching into the hat brim and all the bill of it. And they call me Nordstrom, ma'am. I look to Colby, ma'am. Uh, I I certainly would appreciate any food you're willing to share, and I'm certainly willing to work for it. I can be a little crafty. Doc's been teaching me a few things, so I can make some stuff if anything breaks or if you need anything rigged up. Doc's been good at teaching me.
Well, if you're offering food, I'll certainly throw it in. We could use extra food if we're going to have extra mouths. If you want to help, I see that you're pretty dirty yourselves. You could go join Adrian outside. She's in the garden trying to pick stuff that we could use for tonight's dinner. Why don't you go help her, and then we'll see from there where we find ourselves.
I go ahead, unsling my pack, grab my one food unit, which is beef sticks from a service station that we found a while ago, and I will toss the beef sticks over to her.
She looks at them and goes, "Okay, we could use that."
And then I'll head out to the garden.
Okay. So there's a way. Graham points it out to you. There's a door in the kitchen that goes right out to the back, and there's a staircase right next to it. So you see that there's at the edge there's a door that goes out and a staircase that goes up and down. So there's a staircase that goes both. And there's also a door in that room or there's a doorway, and inside you see a pantry. So there's back toward the dining room. So basically, right next to the dining room is where there's a lot of canned and jarred foods. Looks like mostly corn and wheat, but it's on the shelves and like they jarred it themselves. As you go out the door, you find a teenage girl dressed relatively nicely, picking through the vegetables, but trying not to get her clothes dirty. What do you guys do?
I'm going to step behind Nordstrom and push her forward.
Hey, the storm's coming. I think she should come inside before.
She says, "She? I have a name."
Adrian.
Oh, Adrian. Sorry.
It's a pretty name too. I'm Colby. We were sent to help you.
Oh, okay. Well, she looks at you guys' clothes and goes, "You want to grab some of these tomatoes and maybe some of this?" And she's pointing at the stuff that's in the garden. You have to go into the dirt to get to it.
Okay. I will happily go into the dirt for it. I'll
Hey,
get
Scott.
dirty.
Yeah.
With my knowledge of the storm, how much time do we have?
You have a couple of hours. It's not going to hit now, but it's definitely going to hit probably nighttime, middle of the night.
And how much destruction do I think it will cause?
You know that often in the case of temporal storms, it doesn't really cause destruction. Nothing really gets damaged. Some things do. The lightning does strike and it does hit stuff. For the most part, the actual problem is that if you're caught up in it, you may not be in the same time or place when the storm passes. Right? You might find yourself in the 1900s in Canada somewhere, rather than where you were, or super far in the future where the sun is dying and there's nothing left. These are things. This is actually the bigger concern than the actual destruction the storm makes. But there will be some minor damage. Some of the property might get damaged in the process.
But Adrian, we should hurry back inside. I seem to just be getting more anxious as we're out here, and I'm just basically going into the dirt and happily getting myself dirty to pick up everything as quickly as I can and try and get inside. We don't want to. Doc says we don't want to be caught out here when the storm comes.
I similarly am trying to help, but my eyes really don't leave the young and clean girl for very long. I have the face of a smitten youngster on.
She seems to be relatively annoyed at the fact that you're paying attention to her, but she's also super happy that someone else is going out into the dirt to grab the vegetables. Her clothes are remaining nice and clean, which is apparently something she cares a lot about. But she, despite all of that, she actually kind of seems to be using that idea and goes, "Oh, could you also grab some of those for me?" And you could tell she's trying to like convince you to do it. A little too hard, right? Like she's playing you a little.
I happily play along.
Great. You guys grab some vegetables, some food units, and you come back inside with them and her, and you get back in. That's enough that each of you, when you eat tonight, we will all 2 food units consume.
Awesome.
Very easily. For some of you, that's good. Some of you, that's like, oh, I need to eat more.
Well, we'll deal.
Go ahead.
Who was the leader of this household unit? Was Graham?
Graham.
Yeah.
Graham, and he's in the kitchen with you and Randall, who haven't left to go outside.
Graham's in the kitchen with
I'd like to converse
Randall.
with Graham.
Okay.
Hey, Graham, this storm is nothing to mess around with. If you have anything that's not in the house, you got to hunker down and take anything you can and bring it inside. Anything valuable. This storm is all chaos, and who knows what's going to happen out there.
Yeah, the most valuable thing I have is my family, and we're all going to be inside by the time that storm gets to us.
Yeah, any extra supplies you need to bring it all inside. Anything you can.
Yeah. We've just got us. The food in the garden. I guess we could try to pick it all, but some of it will go bad if we do. It's not quite ripe yet.
Oh,
So,
well, Doc's really good with stuff, and I can help.
We're outside right now, Alice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
Missed it.
Yeah, is there anything in the barn that's important?
well, the machinery, the counter oscillator, for example, but it's inside the barn, so it's inside. Is this storm acid rain?
It's just unknown chaos.
Is the machinery something we can move in the house?
No, it's not movable. It's part of the barn. He points out the window. There's a very small slit in the window to look out that way. And you guys can see that it's just a barn, but there's antennas coming up and out of the roof. There's multiple different like antennas and like little satellite. There's clearly some kind of like that barn is like mostly a radio center, essentially.
Doc, you want to go take a look at that?
Yeah. You mind if I go investigate? I mean, see what's
Well,
going on out there.
I'll have to go with you. There's some traps and stuff there in case someone were to try to get in. So I'll go out with you and we'll disable them.
Okay.
I'll go get it. Just
Okay. So there was supposed to be a gap in time. People could talk to people. That is going to happen, but what's going to happen in that gap of time is that you three, so you two and Graham are going to go out to the barn. The others of you come in from picking vegetables and stuff, and you have the opportunity to sort of wash up or talk to the others, however you want to play it. But it's basically just going to be a time to find out more about the house and the people. Like the fact that when you come in, Adrian disappears upstairs. Obviously, she's got a room up there.
Okay. She's not interested in socializing with us grungy, dirty people, especially since I've described myself as having motor oil on me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is an interesting thing here in this house because of the water being up on the roof that is collected somehow. You'll don't know because Graham's outside of the barn.
Mm-hmm.
They use the gravity to rain it down so that you can actually wash a little bit. And there's a bathroom down on that first floor that you can sort of clean up. And the Lorraine is the name of the mom. She recommends that you do that if you can. Just clean up a little bit, for your own safety. Don't get sick.
I'll go and clean up a little bit as she instructs. And I apologize for being distracted.
Definitely use my toothbrush and all.
Fixed it.
Brush your teeth.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so the two of you that go to the barn with Graham, so the three of you total. You get out there, and when you get to the barn door, he disables something at the door. And as he rolls the door back, you see that there's a shotgun there with like a modified sort of cord trigger. If you just try to pull the door open, you got shot with a shotgun face. He removes that, and inside is the most impressive radio radar array you've ever seen. It is made of all kinds of stuff, some of which you think had to have been stolen from a military base. That's just like the level of technology here. Like, there's no way that they just had this laying around.
Let's look around and go, huh? Ain't that something?
How long have you guys been on this farm?
Well, my family's been here a very long time.
So, where did all this stuff come from?
We stole most of it. And he's pretty straightforward about that. He's just like,
wow, that's quite impressive. So who among you maintains all this?
well, that was my sister's job until just a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, she was the tech person. She came up with all of this connections to this stuff. She's actually the one that knew there was a National Guard base just a few hundred miles west. She read it in a book.
Oh, well, I'll take note of that. I'll look around us. Is there anything this makes sense to me with my scientific knowledge?
Yeah, you can roll mechanics, science, or academics to figure all this stuff out.
I'm skilled in science, so I'll try the science roll.
Okay.
And how would I roll that?
So it's the same as rolling normally, except that with the skilled tagline to it, the skilled proficiency, you get to add a +5 to the stat. So the stat's intelligence, right? And then you'd add 5 to that, so that your number is going to be whatever that is, +5.
All right. I have 1 degree of success.
Which is 1 degree. Okay. This you can kind of make heads and tails of. Basically, what you notice is essentially tracking technology, where it's sort of tracking the incoming radar signals and the radio signals and other signals, but essentially it's creating them and it's monitoring them and it's making meters for them, and then it's sending back out a signal that's the exact opposite signal to the one that's coming in. So thereby, like, countering it and making a different signal. It's just sort of balancing it out so it becomes a nullified signal.
And what would happen if this was to turn off?
All of those signals would just do their normal thing, which in this case is apparently radar and like sonar, just various different signals. They would all work. And so Graham described this when you were coming in as this machine, whatever this stuff is, takes the incoming signals and then shoves one back. So like the robots that are sending out the radar signals would probably then know that there's a house and building here. And whatever other signals they are would just automatically trigger. You know that some of the machines don't have full-on human parts? I mean, technological parts? Do you have xenotech use? I'm sure you do. You could roll that if you don't.
Where
right, if you do. So it's underneath, it's one of the intelligence skills. It's at the very bottom, xenotech use. I'm not sure if you're actually proficient in it or not. You can still make the roll.
I have tech use proficient.
You have tech use, but I'm talking about xenotech use.
Oh, okay. It's instinct. No, I'm not.
Yeah, sorry, instinct. Sorry, xenotech use.
No, I do not.
You can still roll that. You would just do it at disadvantage.
Okay. 68, whatever my disadvantage is, probably not anything. No, I don't get it even.
Right. So the disadvantage would be rolling and
something alien.
Yeah, it's there's some sort of alien tech there. So you're guessing when he mentioned before that it sends out a psychic signal as well. That's probably how it's doing that alien technology.
Wow, that's quite impressive. Okay, I guess nothing really makes sense to me here except for this is protecting us.
Yep, and that's exactly what it's doing.
If it goes off, well, then we lose our protection. Basically. Hopefully, the storm doesn't knock this out, or else we're gonna have a lot more difficult time.
I mean, it's weathered a few storms, but it'll probably be fun. It's powered. The power generator for it's actually in the house, and I've run a line mostly underground to the house. And he sort of points. You can see where there's a power line that comes up out of the ground right inside the barn. And he's made there seems to be a tube there. He and his sister buried that, he tells you. And then they could run the power out to the barn without it being affected by stuff on the surface.
If there's nothing else that's loose that I can help move around in the house, I think I'm done here. Unless Randall, you're out with me. Oh, Randall,
I mean,
are you with me?
there's nothing out here that I'm gonna be able to. I mean, this is all Greek to me, so I'm just out here being dumbfounded.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Even for someone who doesn't understand the tech behind it, it's still like, whoa, what did I walk into? Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to the house.
Okay. So you guys kind of wash up, those of you that are in the house, and the others come back in just in time for dinner to be served. And dinner is just some...
In case this creeps the mother out or anything, but after I'm washed up, I take a little bit of more motor oil and do my hair, and then wash my hands. But I am actively putting motor oil back in my hair, like hair gel.
Yeah, you're trying to slick it up. I get it. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Gotta use what you have.
Yeah, so dinner is served, and dinner is a vegetable soup, mostly with some meat in it. Mostly meat that was from beef sticks taken from a gas station you guys found recently. But for the most part, it's vegetables, as you would guess, based on their garden. Do you have any questions for the family or the people in this dining room before we move on to the next part of the story?
No. But I am going to be scrutinizing them a little bit. Like, I'm just looking at them and examining, just trying to size them up. I might not be very subtle about it either. Just, it seems too idyllic here, and after the life that I've lived the past few years, this place seems a little off to me as a result. So
yeah, that makes sense.
The two other newcomers, there was Samson, and what was the other name?
Daxton.
I'm gonna look at them too and say, so what's your story? Where are you guys from?
That triggers a very long conversation from Samson, who basically takes up the whole evening telling you about his story, about how he was totally just like a kid growing up in a city, and then everything just kind of went just crazy, and he's not entirely sure what everything was, but there was like aliens and zombies, and he basically just fills the time telling you about all the apocalypses that you already know exist, and how he managed to like heroically survive them all. It's a little too inconvenient, but you could tell that it's not like he's not blatantly lying to you. He's just over exaggerating his roles in his survival. And it's more of like a boasting more than like he's trying to tell you falsified information. You know, you get the feeling that he legitimately thinks that he's the one that killed the zombie that was going to kill him, et cetera, you know, before it could kill him, that kind of stuff.
I stay quiet and try to watch Adrian out of the corner of my eye, sometimes spilling soup on myself and other, teenage guffaws.
And in the back of my mind, I just think, well, this was a big mistake.
Yeah, you don't get a time to hear anything from Daxton because Samson just continues to talk. He's one of those guys that when there's silence, he has to say something. So if he finishes with like a joke or like a funny moment and no one laughs, he goes, and then he just continues on, right? Just doesn't really give him a good chance.
Am I sitting next to Samson, who's telling the story?
Oh yeah, why not?
Okay, sure. I am going to, when he's telling the story and he's distracted and all, I'm going to be basically sizing him up on what he's actually carrying and such like that. I'm not taking anything, but I do have palming and thieving skills, but I'm just basically figuring out what he has on him that might be of interest.
Sure.
That isn't obvious, and as he's moving around, his arm moves up and I see something hidden there, something hidden there.
Mm. Yeah, he definitely has a knife tucked in his belt that he's generally concealing, and a small firearm. You're not sure what because it's pretty well concealed, but it is there. However, he doesn't have a backpack or anything on, so you're not sure what's going on there. He's clearly not carrying as much stuff as he would need to survive. That's a very strange thing to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look like he's suffering from the lack of having it.
Yeah, he's big and pudgy.
Yeah, he's probably stored it somewhere is the feeling you get, but for the most part, he's just got two concealed weapons and then some stuff in his pockets. You're guessing by the look of the stuff in his pockets, they're either like ammunition or like random CP. He's just got shoved in his pockets.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything they want to do during the dinner?
Oh, let's talk about the library. I
Okay.
guess we had to pass through there at all. Did I ever get a chance to kind of browse?
So not really before, because you guys just kind of walked by it. You didn't go inside the library. But after dinner, you're basically going to be free. You're all going to have to sleep in the parlor, Graham tells you, or in the library. It's up to you. But all of the rooms on the second floor are already taken, unfortunately, because Dax and Samson beat you guys to the house this morning. They both have the 2 rooms that are open upstairs, as well as the 2 kids have the rooms upstairs. And then they have the top floor. That's what he tells you. So you guys are all going to have to crash together in like the library or the parlor. So you're free to just kind of roam downstairs as much as you want. Just don't eat the food in the pantry because that'll result very badly. You all wake up in the morning. Just FYI. He gives you that, like, don't eat my food. Like, look.
All right.
So, yeah, after dinner, you can certainly spend as much time as you want hanging out.
That's what I want to do. I'm good with moving scenes.
Okay. All right.
What does Adrian seem to think of the guy's storytelling?
She's interested. You get the feeling that she likes to hear stories of like real stuff going on in the world, but she's also not quite like interested in what's happening in general. The one thing you notice that throughout the dinner, you eventually get from the family as they're talking that Adrian is not their child; she's their niece, and that's what you understand is that her mom was the one who wandered off recently. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Cool. So she's paying attention, but also being aloof at the same time.
Me, I'm behaving a little awkward. Like, I'm an awkward teenager, uncertain about, like, it's one thing to hang out with all these people all these years, but we don't deal with people, especially in such an idyllic situation, very much.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, plus a house with, like, 3 levels and 2 levels of balconies that have been...
Yeah, we found utopia, so there's something wrong with these people. I'm certain of it. And so the longer that I'm here, the more uncomfortable I'm getting.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's hard to trust people when they seem to be doing fine in an apocalypse.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
and they have food? Lots and lots of food?
Yeah, doing better than us.
Yeah.
Why would you not trust them? There's a cute girl that's just a little bit older than me.
That's true.
I guess we could have asked more of a reason why that her mother went off.
Yeah, so
she was attacked.
Yeah, that's been explained, but he'll explain it again. Like basically, they were attacked by zombies and during one of the working on the resonator counter oscillator device out there. When it was off because they were trying to, make some adjustments to it, and she got attacked. Unfortunately, like she tried as long as she could to like not get sick, but she started to get sick.
Basically turned.
And so she left before she could turn. Essentially,
yeah. Which is why I was
voluntarily.
Don't suppose one of the ones we beat up might look like her, and it turns out we got her.
Yeah, she clearly was like amongst the group that you destroyed out there before. Yeah, so that's her story. That explains the daughter's sort of aloofness, because up until this moment, she wasn't really accepting that her mom was dead and sort of thought maybe her mom might come back.
And we killed
And
her
so
mom.
unless you guys specifically said we killed your mom out there,
Mm-mm.
she's still going to think that her mom is still out there somewhere. Being fun.
Well, that and the fact that, her zombie mom might have been like up near the fence looking at, creeping on her from time to time and such.
As
And-
close as the resonator would let her get, right?
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess things up and tell her I killed. No, I'm not
Nope.
mentioning that part.
Nope. That's not a story you want to tell.
Mm-mm.
So after dinner, you guys have all the time you want to spend downstairs. Everyone else goes upstairs to like get ready for sleep time or whatever they do in the evening by themselves. People do weird stuff. Some people clean their weapons. Some people read books. Some people pretend that they're on Instagram with their fake Instagram.
I read my comic book, brush my teeth, think about Adrian.
So in the library, for those that want to go there,
Yeah, I'll hang out in the library.
just the one, just you? Okay. In the library, there's a whole lot of books, like I said, that are technical and mechanical of nature on the table. The rest of the bookshelves just are filled with all kinds of different books. There's everything from like sci-fi novels to like farmers' almanacs. Basically, this library has a lot of the stuff that you'd want to survive, but then it has a few other things, probably for the kids' education. That's the feeling you get. Like, oh, look, here's all the classics right here in this section. But on the table, the ones that are on the table are mechanical or medical in nature, and they've been clearly like dog-eared and marked. Someone was definitely using them.
I'll look over Dax's shoulders, and I will keep pointing out words that I don't understand and ask, what does that word mean? What does that word mean? And I'm mostly illiterate is what I figure, but I can look at schematics and diagrams, and then every once in a while I ask, what does that word say? Because I understand like a few words.
Mm. I'll try to see any kind of medical stuff that she'd be interested for, like how to adjust her hair and how to make it more spiky.
Actually, specifically, I'm more interested in mechanical crafting type things. Mechanics.
Oh, mechanical crafting.
Yep. So the
Motor
trick is,
oil, mechanics, electricity.
these guys, these books, you can totally flip through one or have one flip through it. And what'll end up happening is if you have it with you when you try to go do a thing, you'll get advantage on the skill that you're using, whether it's like academics or mechanics or science or survival. But you have to have the book with you to do that, right? You're sort of like looking it up. Is sort of the thing that you're doing. So that's the thing. You can hold on to one and kind of keep it and like be reading through it and thumbing through it.
Okay.
And have it with you. However, if you want to know more about the psychic resonator counter oscillator, you're thumbing through those books that are on the table with all of these marks. Roll academics or science, and you want to get an amazing success to be able to piecemeal all out.
Okay, I'll do the science.
Okay.
No, just 1 degree.
Okay, so you get some information from it. You understand now better what you're looking at, but you still don't quite understand how it all works, right? Unless you want a deja vu and be like, no, I learned more when I read these things. You could do that.
I'll take another reroll.
Yeah, just do that, because that's your special ability. The others have to reroll for like failures. You can just be like, no, that's not how I remember.
No, that's even worse.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not that lucky.
Yeah.
It was worth a try.
Yeah, you got some information from it, but you're still not quite entirely sure. But you still get that, like I said before, you get advantage on these next things that you...
Okay,
but yeah.
Mechanics and medicine?
Sure, yeah, why not?
Sure.
Those are the ones you want to have with you and have the book out when you're doing the thing, and that's fine. You'll probably have to talk to Graham, maybe trade him some stuff for the book, essentially. But you can have it with you while you're in the house. You can easily hold on to it.
I'll retain it.
Yeah.
But then I'll trade it for it later.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Anyone else want to do anything else before I move on to the yet even more scenes? Because it is now storm time.
I'm good with moving on.
While they're doing that, I'm basically just checking the defenses around the house, making sure that all the window seals are tight, and just checking everything out to make sure that it is as defensible as possible.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's actually a good thing to do, and we'll apply that later. But let's do something real fast. Why don't you? Let me check real fast on something on your character sheet. Yeah, go ahead and roll crafting for me. That's just a thing you're proficient in. Just go ahead and roll crafting and tell me what you get.
Hold on, let me find it.
It's
31.
Okay, so you got a 31 out of
30.
30. Okay, that's fine.
So I just failed by 1.
Yeah, this was going to be. I was just going to see if you reinforced any of the barrier. I mean, you at least made sure everything was shored up, so that's going to be fine for in the future. If you reinforce the barrier, I was going to give like extra barrier points to the barriers around the windows and stuff. But you shore it up. You make sure all the bolts are tightened as much as they can be, and everything is like braced properly. Nothing's going to fall down in the middle of the storm or during an attack. So yeah, you still help. You just don't do as good of a job, but still help.
Thank you for helping.
Okay. Well then.
Well, while Randall's doing that, I'm just kind of like sitting down and such, and every once in a while I'll ask him a question about Adrian.
Somebody's pretty caught up on Adrian.
That's right. A girl that's clean in this day and age, that's probably going to make a pretty big impact,
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so you guys kind of do your stuff, and then it starts to get later on in the night. Now, you would normally...
I want to make sure we're setting up watches. I'm very nervous here, so I'm going to make sure that we are still taking turns doing our watches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not normal with
that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that sleeping works, by the way, is for every 4 hours you sleep. Now, this is the thing that changed. So in my current rules that I wrote, it was that for every 4 hours you get a health point back. Recently, in the new draft version of the core rules, Mike decided that it should be 2, and so he just changed it. So now when you sleep for every 4 hours, you get 2 hit points back. Yeah, thanks. That's fine. I'm okay with it. It's cool. He was just like, Dad, they need more. It doesn't throw off the balance at all. But you guys haven't taken any damage, I don't think. I don't think any of you took any damage, so There's no big deal there. So basically, you can do like a 4-hour sleep and then a watch, or a watch for 4 hours and then go to sleep. That's what a normal 8-hour sleep period would be, right? So you don't have to sleep for 8 hours to get any kind of benefit. You get benefit after 4.
Okay.
Cool. So, who's taking watch first?
I will.
That's the question. Okay. And everyone else is sleeping?
What time is it? Do we think the time anomaly storm is going to hit?
Basically 2 hours into the first sleep, and don't know how long it's going to last once it gets there. Could last all night, could last an hour, could last all night, but only an hour at the same time. Yeah.
So, Doc, want to take first watch with me?
Well, if we have 8 hours of watch, there's 4 of us. We each have to take 1 watch, or someone take a double watch. I'm fine with taking a double watch.
Well, he was saying that we're in 4-hour increments.
Yeah, for sleep benefits, kick in, you just sleep.
Oh, okay, sure.
So
I'll
it's usually
take a double
4-hour increments.
I'll double up with you on the first watch.
Okay.
Cool.
So then the other 2 are on the second watch.
Okay, those of you that are sleeping, make a resolve special stat roll for me. Resolve. It's the second to last one in the center in that bar of special stats.
Brandon's connection tonight has been extremely entertaining. I don't know about you guys, but he keeps freezing up. He's still there, never disconnecting, but he freezes up and unfreezes randomly.
Yeah, it's been. And sometimes I'm not sure if he heard me because, I'm not sure if he's just paused out and I don't hear him, or whether he's still there and he's just not saying anything.
I have a single success.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no success.
Okay. That's all I want to know. Okay, so then for Randall, you've seen the sort of write-up I made, but is there any sort of thing you want to add in the background, your character's background, that you want to present right now? Because I'm going to use it for this time paradox thing.
The background stated that he saw his friends and family destroyed in the apocalypse.
Right. The nuclear blasts incinerated them.
Yeah. And so, I mean, he was there. I'm going to say that he had a wife named Linda.
Linda?
And, yeah.
Okay.
And she was with him. He watched her like disintegrate in front of his eyes.
Okay.
And that is probably like the one thing that he sees pretty much every night when he sleeps, is he sees her disintegrate in front of his eyes again.
Okay. So when the storm hits, I'll get to the two of you on watch in a moment, but when the storm hits, the two of you that are asleep, you feel this pull, because you don't have like as much resistance to it because you're asleep. You feel this pull in your dream where whatever you're doing in your dream world changes, and you're sort of snapped in the same place. And you have this almost lucid awareness that you're in a dream, but you're not sure what's happening. And at that point, what you end up seeing is this woman, Linda, as she like is looking at you and like reaching for you, and then there's like this bright light, and she just disappears in front of you, and you feel this loss and pain. You both have that happen, but only Randall is affected by it because it was his wife. So you both see that happen, and it's a tremendously crazy incident. But then it like seems to loop back, and you almost feel like you're about to experience it. While I cut to the other two.
Okay.
So you two, outside the house, there's a whole lot of lightning that starts striking all over the place, and the rumbling of the storm. You get the feeling that like things around you are strange, as you can hear laughter from children. You hear the creaking of boards in the room that you're in, a rocking chair somewhere. You just start to experience the history of this house. And at one point you see a guy in a Union soldier uniform. He's talking to someone, but you can't hear the words that he's saying, but he looks like he's got this whole waterfall beard mustache thing, you know, I'm talking about the one that's this thing. Anyway, he's just wearing old clothes. Someone you can't see he's talking to, and you just see him standing there, but then a moment later he's there.
I'm going to be jumpy enough that when he materializes and starts talking, I'll let off an arrow, and then
Okay.
So.
And he disappears right before the arrow gets to him and just flies and hits a wall.
Okay. I'll retrieve my arrow after that.
Oh yeah, you can totally do that. And as you go to retrieve it, you feel like children brush past you, like they're running, like chasing after something. You hear them laughing, and you hear their footsteps, or you don't see them. And you just start experiencing stuff. Both of you make a resolve special stat roll, but with advantage because you're awake and aware.
Sure.
Right. I think I would have held on to my religious holy book. Do I get an extra advantage?
Yeah, you will. So you'll add a +5 to your roll, the threshold and so on.
All right, what am I rolling against now?
It's resolve. So the resolve special stat. You want to get below that, but that number is going to be at 5 above. Where
I'm going to be 2 degrees of success.
Okay.
I guess me being paranoid at the moment is helping.
Yeah. So in your case, sorry. Did you figure it out?
Where is my resolve?
Okay, so resolve is right
middle,
right between
middle of your sheet.
Right between resilience and immunity on that middle.
I found it. Thank you.
Yeah, and you're gonna add 5 to that threshold, so it'll be 70.
1 degree of success.
Okay, yeah, that's enough. Both of you shake it off. You don't shake it off quite as much as Nordstrom does, because Dax has experienced this sort of thing before. He's not sure if he was one of those kids or not, right? That's sort of the feeling he gets. But he manages to like maintain that he's here in this house at this time in this place, and that Nordstrom is also here, Nordstrom, you're like it just feels weird, like there are ghosts and stuff in this house, and like there's voices and talking, and you hear like an old lady telling a story. It's like a soothing story too, so it's not even like a scary one. This is not like a haunted house feel, right? That's what you get out of this.
So
but
when
meanwhile,
are the vampires jumping us?
There at some points in time, you see zombies inside the fence, but before you can react to them, you see them outside the fence, and then before you react to them, they just disappear again. You sort of get this feeling like you're seeing times when zombies were around the house, before everything was good. And it's just a whole lot of noise and a lot of activity. It's basically just utter chaos. And the best thing to do is just stay where you are and not try to chase any of the stuff because you might get caught up in it. What do you guys do during all of this? How do you handle it?
I'm tripping a little bit. I'm like, I kind of remember that. It's deja vu, but of my deja vu.
Like I said,
Inception vu.
yes. Like I said, I'm a little jumpy, so if things are coming up around us, I'll shoot it or react to it before I can stop myself. But I'm not going out and chasing outside of the area that I'm just sitting watching. I'm watching over our family, basically.
Yeah.
I'm
all
watching
right.
over
So
Randall and Colby sleeping, making sure they're safe.
you both hunkered.
I'm contemplating waking them. Do we think we should wake them up, Nordstrom?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Wait, what's that? What's that over there? I think I might get a little loud that I might accidentally wake the two of them at times.
It looks like Randall's having nightmares, so I'll try to shake Randall and say, "Hey guys, Storm's here. Let's get ready."
You guys are experiencing that moment again, but now both of you are simultaneously Linda at the same time. And right as the bright light is supposed to happen, and you can see yourselves and you're reaching for yourselves, right as that bright light's about to happen, you both wake up from these two, or this one trying to wake you guys up. And as that happens, there's a big bolt of lightning, big flash outside, so that the dream and the time thing all kind of blend together. And right then, all of the power in the house goes out. Everything just stops, and you hear the quiet. Randall, the pressure in your head that you've had this whole time you've been here goes away.
At that point, I wake up with a scream.
Yeah.
I wake up yelling, "Linda!"
As they're waking up, I'm like ducking underneath a temporal zombie, knowing, okay, this is just gonna go away again in a second, so just to save my ammo and dodge underneath it. And I'm like, hey, look out, Doc, look out! And then when the lights go out, I'll grab my glow stick, pop it, drop it in the room for us.
I turn my head upstairs and kind of listen. Do I hear anything upstairs? Anything going on up there?
Well, I mean, there was a scream, so when someone got up and shouted Linda, so you start hearing movement up there.
I'll actually let the glow stick be hanging off of my belt, so when I drop it, it's hanging on me.
Very smart. Everyone's got a green glow about them. The only light in this place, which is strange because you did have lights before. So after a moment of trying to figure out what's going on, you hear someone coming down the stairs, and Graham pops up at the top of the stairs. He's got his like shoes on. He's trying to throw them on, and he's like, "What happened? Where's all the power? What's going on?" He sees you guys all together in the parlor.
Belinda was talking to me, and then there was a bright flash, and
Who's Linda?
They woke me up.
Who's Linda?
We need to go check on the generator.
The lady that I was talking to, Nordstrom.
Graham says, "Yeah, the generator definitely needs to be checked. I'm worried about the oscillator. I think it's off. If there's no power here, there's no power there."
For Graham, when he comes in, seeing this green glow, he notices that some of the things around the room are broken. Because, like I said, I've been, jumping at ghosts, and so I've kind of
Yeah.
broken the room up a bit. I mean, Randall and Colby seem to be pretty deep sleepers because I did some loud enough.
They were caught in some kind of deep dream.
Yes, everyone was, apparently, and I'm just, I broke the room up a bit.
Yeah, he looks around and says, "You guys, some of you, Dax, you are technical. Do you want to check the generator? It's down in the basement. I'll have Emery take you. There's the sun.
I can go help.
And I need to go out to the barn. So I need someone to stay with the family. I'll go out to the barn, that kind of thing.
I'll go help with the generator. Colby likes Adrian. Maybe Colby should stick around and watch over the family.
Someone should keep an eye on Graham as well.
I kind of get this shocked and horrified look, and I elbow Nordstrom a bit.
What? I'm trying to get you points with her. I mean, if you're going to be her knight in shining armor like that story that you were telling about, maybe she'll like you.
The armor wasn't shining, it was bright red. That's the Flash. Sorry, I lost my accent.
So me and Emery are going, I'm like, anyone else coming?
Yeah, Graham's already like getting his jacket on, as he's getting toward the door.
Like I said, I'm going to the generator with you.
Okay. So he says, Emery, come show them down in the basement, show them where the power is. I'm going to go out to the barn. And then he heads to the door.
What are they using as light sources? Because I know that I'm a light source for the people going to the generator.
Graham has a flashlight.
Glow stick.
I did give him a glow stick.
He actually already has a glow stick on him, but he has a flashlight as well. And you see a flashlight turn on at the top of the stairs, and Emery comes bobbing down, all excited to be doing something.
As I head out with Graham, I'm pulling my axe because something's gonna happen.
Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's do a little bit in the house, and then we'll go out to the outside people, and then we'll come back to the house. Lorraine and Adrian kind of pop at the top of the stairs, and they look down at you guys, and they basically get the idea that they should go with you, so they kind of go with you guys to the basement or whatever. Adrian is very obviously not enthused to be woken up in the middle of the night. She's wearing pajamas. That's like a t-shirt that's nice, and some pajama pants, like actual pajama pants, not just random junk stuff.
Again, Utopia. She has real PJs.
I lose my ability to use the English language.
And
They go for the power, and then they basement
Okay, Jeffrey.
for.
Okay, so that's that. So you guys are going to go together. Emery's got a flashlight. You got glow sticks or whatever.
I vote that in the temporal change and all, Colby got renamed to Jeffrey.
Nope.
You sure?
Okay, so those of you that go outside with Graham, you guys are going outside with Graham. You get to the fence. It is clearly off. The electrical circuits have been blown. He doesn't even have to disconnect the battery to get the fence open, because it just everything's messed up with this lightning strikes that were hitting his stuff. You guys start to come around the house, and as you do, you can hear the telltale moans of zombies. And when you're about halfway to the barn, because you have to go around the whole side of the house, when you're about halfway to the barn, from the tree line breaks a horde of zombies. Now, a horde is 20 zombies moving together as a big flock, and they start coming toward you. They're moving relatively quickly. These are obviously slightly faster than those walkers you were dealing with. They're not shambling, as it were, and they're headed straight for you guys.
Can I re-roll their roll to go in a different direction?
Why don't you go ahead and roll some luck for me?
I don't remember them coming this way.
This is not how I remember how this goes.
I don't remember this going this way.
Oh, 0-2, so that's pretty good.
Okay, I'll allow it. So you're like, no, I don't remember that. And then as you think that, they seem to be on the other side of the house coming out.
And
with
going
the
the other
fence.
way.
And they're like they're just kind of milling around over there, not where they're going. It's clear that they're confused too, because they remember things differently, but now they're over here.
We're just a figment of the time storm.
Yeah, you know, or they are, not sure, but they're definitely somewhere else now. That's a nice use of deja vu. All right,
It was, Sam.
So
It was awesome.
we'll skip that challenge.
No, it was solved.
We solved the challenge.
Yeah,
I spent a luck point.
you did spend a luck point. I'll give it to you. All right, so when you guys get to the barn, then we'll just go to that part. You guys get to the barn, you find that the barn door is open slightly. The shotgun has clearly been like broken off the wall. And as you get to it, it's just large enough, like just open enough that someone can sort of slide in or like peek in, but not to like go in. You have to open it more to go all the way in.
And Randall's the only one that went, right? Because Colby is in the house watching over the family, and then Dax and I went with Emery. No, because Dax and I went to the generator with Emery.
I believe he said he was going out as well. He just deja vu zombies.
Okay, so Sam, because I thought you were going generator. Cool. Then I'm going to the generator alone.
Oh.
No, you're going with Colby. You and Colby are going with Emery down to the generator.
I was going to go to the generator. So
yeah.
do you want to...
you were going to the generator.
Yeah, because Colby was going to stay in the house to protect the family as those shining.
Do you want to back up? You want to back up a little bit?
So the generator's down in the basement. That's where the generator's in. It's
generator
in
and barn are two different places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Colby is in the house protecting the family because he's going to be the knight in shining armor. I went with Dax to go to the generator because that's something I understand. And
right.
Dax and then Randall went by himself.
So if that's the case, then all of you, Colby, Nordstrom, and Dax are with Emery and Lorraine and Adrian going to the basement. That's where they're all going. That's where the generator is. So it's really just Randall with Graham. And somehow the
zombies back?
Somehow from inside the house. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
Whatever. The zombies went their own way.
Yep.
I'll allow it. It's fine.
From in the house, he saved Randall's butt.
All right, Randall. What do you want to do with Graham? How do you want to handle? There's always.
I'm going in first.
Okay.
I'll have him flash the flashlight in, and I'll go in first to see if there's any danger.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna slip through and go in. With flashlight behind you. Okay. As you enter the barn, you realize that there are 3 robots standing there. They're checking out the machinery. And by robots, I mean you've got a really tall one with a bunch of armor on it and a gun, like a turret gun on its back that can be moved up. And then 2 other thinner, smaller ones. They all have rifles and they're all sort of checking out this equipment. They don't see you as you come in because they're looking away from you. But you realize that you're in basically a kill zone because robots. Dems is bad.
That's not good. Let me check my stealth real quick. Okay, there it is. I am wait. Yes, I'm proficient in stealth. Okay. I'm gonna roll for stealth and then try to move back out the door.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty smart move. You have to roll a 35 or under.
Fingers crossed. So that's not good.
Would you like to re-roll?
I am going to burn a luck point and re-roll. And I rolled 11 this time.
Okay, that's better. It's much better. Okay. All right, so 11 is a great success for you. So you slip back out quietly. Let's see if the robots notice you. Not a great success. Not a great success. Ooh, okay. So as you slip out the door, one of the robots starts to turn towards you and catches you right as you go out the door. You can see it, like sensors, like its scanning sensor array, hit you right as you go out the door. So you're outside the barn at the same moment that it notices you just leaving. You don't hear any sounds from the robots inside because they don't talk. They just send signals to each other. But you know that it saw you.
Okay. Not good. I'm going to whisper as quietly as I can to Graham, there's bots in there. We need to move. And run.
Okay. So, let's jump to the people in the house. Okay, then. So you guys are in the house. And Emery takes you through the kitchen into the back area where there's a staircase. And the staircase goes up and down. It goes down to the basement. He leads you down to the basement, but as you get to the bottom of the stairs, it's a very narrow staircase, so this is a very nice, like, sort of defensive choke point, which is good, I think, if something were to happen. But as you go down to the basement, the very first thing you see at the bottom of the stairs is the body of Samson, laying flat, face down on the ground, and a big pool of blood leaking out from generally where his neck would have been if his head was not severed from his body.
I'd like to just point out that this is a bad thing. This is a bad thing.
Look at Emery, look around.
I pull my bow and I'm looking around, and I'll use the bottom of my recurve bow to kind of poke at his body. See if I can actually at that point get a little closer, and I'm going to track to try and figure out, use my tracking skill to and perception to, probably perception, to try and figure out what decapitated him.
Sure. This could also be medicine, by the way.
So I got 1 degree of success.
Okay. Some blade cut his neck, clearly.
Not blunt force trauma.
I'm going to check his blades that are on him, the weapons on him, because I remember, I scanned his body very well to know where his stuff was. I'm going to look for his knives and blades and see if they're still there.
Yeah,
okay.
They're there.
And they don't have blood on them?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to...
He didn't cut his own head off.
Okay. I'm going to take his weapons. We might need them.
Okay.
And,
yeah. You get a combat knife and a 9mm handgun.
Okay. I'm going to pass the 9mm... I'm going to pass the knife to Colby and the 9mm over to...
I think Colby's up a floor from you guys.
Yeah,
I'm still on the ground floor and such.
He said Colby was coming with us. I was like, really? Okay, so cool. So I'm just going to pass...
The family, so Lorraine and Adrian are also going toward the basement because they figured it's probably just the safe place to go in this kind of situation.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll wave them off when they start coming behind us thinking it's the safe place. We'll wave them off. Is what I think.
Yeah, and Colby could easily be with them and be the first one to see the signal to go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will hand the 9mm over to Dax, and I'll keep the blade then. And with that same tracking roll, or if I need to roll a new one, I am interested in seeing if I can find footprints that lead, from the blood and all leading to and from it, etc. Try and track the source.
Go ahead and roll tracking. You can see, everyone can see some vague footprints in the blood.
7. So that is 3 degrees of success.
Yeah, you absolutely can follow these footprints. It's not super clear. It's like pretty faint. Like there's only a little blood on the footprints, but you're enough to track it. It goes straight from the dead body directly into a room that Emery would have pointed out to you if he was not terrified, but he just found a dead body at the bottom of the staircase. Emery's pretty far gone, but the room, the door is slightly open, and you can tell that this is obviously where the main power like generator and supplying unit and stuff were. So this is where all the power. It's like an electrical room in the house that Graham built, and it's all in the off position. It's all been sort of damaged. There's the main line that seems to run out and out to the barn is been severed, and needs repairs.
Okay.
Somebody did this.
I'm going to try and keep tracking
You
the
also
person.
You rolled a 7, right?
Yeah,
that's what you
said.
said.
7.
So that's that amazing success. You also you can tell based on the footprint that this person was relatively smaller, like a normal size but smaller. It doesn't seem to be like Adrian or Emery, but like someone relatively small, like one of you guys or someone else.
It was the dog Pepper.
Vicious evil dog.
I will head towards and just keep following, and I'm going to keep my back against a wall basically so that I don't get jumped. And I'm trying to basically keep the three of us close together.
I'll ready my revolver.
Yeah,
the footprints eventually lead out of the basement.
Okay.
From the
out of the basement, go back up, or okay. I will follow them up, and I will say, Colby, get them to the study and bunker down. And I'm being very quiet.
All right. What's going on?
Someone murdered Samson. Head clean right off.
I think Peppa had an accident at the bottom of the stairs. They're saying we should go bunker down in the study while they clean it up a little bit. A big pile of you know.
So you go ahead and roll charm with advantage because that definitely makes Adrian go.
Ought to.
Okay, yeah, that's super convincing. Lorraine and Adrian just go. Yeah, that's okay. You guys, you can take care of that.
That's totally something Pepper does all the time.
Yeah, Pepper does all the time. Adrian probably makes a comment like, "That dog always in the floor, never gets out enough." And so you lead them back to the library. No problem.
And I'm going to follow the trail.
Okay. The trail goes up. It goes back up because that staircase goes both up and down, right? Mm-hmm. It goes back up to the second floor as far as you can tell, and then you lose it on the carpeted floor of the second.
Does Emery have a weapon, by the way? Is Emery still following? Yeah, Emery's still with us, right?
He kind of follows you, but he's not sure whether to follow you all the way up the stairs or follow his mom into the study. Okay. So it's really up to you whether you guys give him a decision.
I'll tell him to go follow his mother. Don't tell your mom what you saw. Don't scare everyone else.
He just shakes his head. Just
okay. So yeah, we'll drop him off then. At the top of the stairs, when we get to the carpet, hey Doc, you still got some of those chemicals you used?
Yes. What do you need?
Well, remember that time you taught me about magnetism?
Sure. Where are you going with this?
Well, if we take some of that powder, that magnetic powder that you have, and we charge it, carpet, you said, creates static electricity, and so we might be able to utilize a static charge with some of the magnet powder and generate and figure out where the tracks that I lost are. Because there's still going to be blood, and so maybe we can make something react with it. Or maybe you can do some of that luminol thing you said you could make. Do you have anything to make that? Did I get the name right? Is it luminol or is it lumidol?
Is there my science skill and see if there's anything I can sprinkle on the ground to...
Oh yeah, for sure. While you have those 4 CP that you found earlier, you could easily sort of craft that into something because that's how CP works.
All 4 of it? Or...
well, what you did, it's an item, so let's just go ahead and say it's only going to require 3 CP because I just rolled 3. That's how much you're going to need to make this thing. So roll your science and see if you get at least 1 success because you need at least 1.
Yeah, I got 1 success. 51.
Okay. So this is crafting, and this isn't combat. So roll 2d4. It's 2d4 plus 2, I believe. No, 2d4 plus 1. 2d4.
6 total.
Oh yeah, that's enough. You totally make the thing you're making. All 3 of your CP that you were going to use to make that go away, so they're not part of your inventory anymore. But you have this sort of chemical compound that she's talking about to do whatever it is that she's trying to get you to do.
Okay, so I'm going to use that to pick up my tracks again
Okay.
in the carpet.
Okay. Oh yeah, so you totally
You're not going to
craft
stop
some
me
of
with
this
a little
stuff.
carpet.
It takes a bit of time. Don't get me wrong. It's not like an instantaneous thing, but you kind of like go, okay, I think this is what you're doing. That should work. But yeah, you get it after a little bit. And yeah, you can throw it on the carpet and try to follow those footprints some more.
Keep following.
You guys get to, so the hall curves this way and then goes up. You see all the bedrooms and the bathrooms that are up here. And you get to a point where there's kind of a junction where there's like a couple of rooms off from each other. And so there's like this center place where there's not really a hallway, but it's not a room, right? It's like one of those in-betweens. And as that happens, the door to your left swings open slightly, and you can see that Daxton out on that porch that's out there. And there's a creature, very tall, wearing some sort of chitinous armor with weapons, standing there.
Why do I just picture Predator next to him?
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up real fast. Oh, right here. I've got my book.
So I'm right.
What you
Looks like
see-
Predator. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking of it.
And which one of them is about the size?
It looks a lot like that, if you can see that.
Cool. So it's Predator armor missing the things.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you also note that the footprints that you were sort of looking at, there are other footprints that lead away that go down the staircase directly in front of you. So there are 2 staircases, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they head the other way. But those footprints don't look like the ones you were tracking. They look like other footprints. But that they mixed with the ones that you're tracking sort of feels. That's how you can see them.
So
And they don't look like human feet either.
So Daxstrom was small.
Daxton, yes, Daxton was slightly smaller than you guys. He was like the same size as like the smaller of you, but not like he wasn't 50, he's 45. Was his size.
But he's
He's smaller.
waifly and older, or is he young as well?
So they were young. The person is youngish,
Okay.
and you also can't determine a gender based on the right.
Yeah. Caught that.
But yeah, youngish.
Okay.
But patchy skin.
Okay.
But they're talking to an alien thing in a language that you can't quite make out.
I'm going to stealth into cover and wave Dr. Dax, because since we have Daxton and Dax, but wave Doc into drop him behind the bed that's near us. But I'm gonna go stealth up, and and you said we can't understand what they're saying?
Nope. The language is not a language you've heard. Unless you survive the alien apocalypse. Did any of you guys survive the alien invasion? Either
When
of you?
the alien Earth got all jumbly, I survived that one.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, so yeah, you don't understand the language at all.
Okay.
Quickly jumping to the people in the library. I gotta put your numbers down real fast. When you guys are in the library, everything seems to be going okay. Everything's quiet until you start hearing someone coming down the staircase in that room. And this movement just kind of triggers you. You think that it's the group that's upstairs until you realize that it's much heavier than any of the people that are currently in the house. And in that moment, you see a small-ish creature coming down the stairs that is holding a pistol-like weapon in the. This creature very clearly has chitinous skin and has like a vest or something. They look a lot like this, buggy eyes and weird like exposed brainness to them. They're coming down the staircase right there in front of you.
Is it going to be seeing us, or has it already seen us?
Well, there's not really a whole lot to hide behind here except for a small bookcase, and you wouldn't all be able to hide behind it because there are 4 of you now in this room. So you could hide behind it if you wanted to, but the others would be pretty exposed.
No,
But it will be
I'm
seeing
much more concerned about them.
Yeah, it will be seeing you when it comes farther down the staircase. But there's a bend in the staircase, so it's just coming down now, and it hasn't seen you. This is actually technically happening before the others got up to that.
Gotcha. If I can push them kind of to a place that they won't be seen, and since we're kind of expecting that things are going wrong here, and we're on guard, let alone with somebody murdered, I figured that the recurve bow did come out.
Yeah, for sure. I'll totally let you be holding on to it already. You can easily shove them out. In fact, you can shove them through the doorway even. That's right there. That's kind of underneath the staircase, so that they would be out of sight the whole time.
Where's the doorway go?
The door goes out into the hallway, and into like where the parlor, like directly across.
Sure, that's kind of like the area we just were in. So I assume that's safe, despite the fact that everything's going wonky.
You were just there a second ago, so you're sure that there's nothing there. Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just you kind of in the room when this thing is getting mostly down the stairs. Do you want to just leave the room entirely and try to move around the house?
Do I think that they're likely to be able to stay quiet?
Based on the fact that you're extremely good at being quiet, no.
Okay.
They might be quiet-ish until somebody bumps into something. Probably typical people and make noise.
I will stay here and see. I'm gonna watch it for the moment. So kind of in that under the stairs position, taking whatever cover I can.
Okay. All right. So a moment later, the alien gets to the bottom of the stairs. This creature looks around, and it's kind of sniffing, kind of doing something. It doesn't have ears, but it does have this like pulsing sac in its back. On the back of its head, and it's kind of doing some. You have the feeling that it's going to find you very soon if something doesn't change. Or you could try a stealth, see if it just walks on by.
I'm gonna try to stealth at the moment.
Okay.
That is a failure. And I'll take the failure.
It got an amazing success.
Okay.
So it definitely sort of turns and starts to look right at you. Do you want to go to combat now, or do you want me to jump to the others?
Go jump to the others.
I'll jump to the others. Let's jump out to the barn. Okay. So, Randall, you started to run. Where did you go?
My first thought was
go ahead.
My first thought was to run back to the house, but that's kind of far away.
Yes, it is.
But is there any other outbuildings other than the barn? Any like sheds or workshops or anything like that?
There doesn't seem to be. Most of this area has been burned down to make like a intentional open area to be able to see it and protect it. So there isn't really a whole lot besides this barn and the house.
Okay. Is there?
Let's go ahead and roll luck for me and see if there's like a tractor or something.
Sure. Well, I rolled a 64, so yeah.
Yeah, there is a tractor, but it's a decent ways off. It's not relatively nearby. You can run toward it, but you get the feeling you might not make it before if the robots come out of the barn to try to figure out what's going on.
So we're gonna run around the corner of the barn, and see if there's maybe like a loft with like a rope that leads to it or something.
Yeah, there's definitely a loft, and there probably would be that kind of stuff because it's a barn and it's used for stuff.
So yeah, if we can get to the loft and the rope, if we can climb that rope and get up into that loft area.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. So what you'll do is you'll roll an athletics roll, and and then we'll see if he can get up behind you, Graham.
I would probably let him go first.
Okay.
Because I am armed.
Sure.
But, yeah, I'm proficient in athletics, so that's good.
Yep. And it's a good thing that you let him go first because you can kind of help him, which gives him advantage in this case, because you're just going to kind of shove him a bit. So he gets up. He got a 26 instead of a 76. So nice help.
Sweet.
Yeah. So he starts up the rope, and he's like most of the way up to the second level, the loft, before you start to go up.
And I rolled a 50. So just barely.
But you made it.
Make it, yes.
Yeah. So like you could easily in this case, so just to be clear, climbing would have just been some hindering terrain type movement stuff. You didn't like not climb. But because you got a success on the athletics, you managed to do it like quickly without any like slipping or having trouble. So yeah, you're able to get to the loft really, really quickly.
All right. And we're just gonna I have an item. It is a camo tarp.
Yep.
I'm going to lay it over us, and it gives me stealth advantage when not moving.
Correct.
And I'm going to tell Graham, don't move. I'm just going to throw the tarp over the two of us, and wait and see what happens next.
Cool. The robots come out of the barn and start looking around. You can see them scanning. You see like a little sensor like moving up and down and around. They're clearly checking for you guys. They scan the rope, and then they kind of just keep walking around. It's like they didn't see that you guys used the rope. They walk around the barn for a bit, and then they come back inside to go back to looking at the electronic equipment. You don't know what's going on. They clearly don't seem to be tracking you that well. But you can kind of see them through the tarp and the holes in the floor. And Graham, he looks at you and he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out like this stuff and he says, "This is a bomb, I guess. Should we use it?" And he whispers that to you.
I whisper back, we could, but using it in here might damage your machine. We'll need to draw them back outside.
Well, how do you think we should do that?
Well, we could go back out down the rope and build a little trigger trap for them. And then when they come out, well, hopefully that bomb's big enough to deal with them. I don't like this. This isn't going to be easy. But, I mean, unless you got a better idea.
I mean, one of us could go down and distract them, get them to come out, and the other one toss this bomb from the loft out this hole. We could try that too. But I like your plan. Your plan's safe.
None of these plans are safe. All right. Let's get back down this rope and see what we can put together.
Okay. So you guys come back down the rope. And you get back to the door. So you want to make like a tripwire bomb trigger claymore thing at the door. Is that right?
Yes, that's what I want to do.
Okay. All right then. That's a cool thing to do. Let's bring up your character sheet. You don't have any random CP on you, do you? No.
No. I mean, I guess I could pull a page out of Nordstrom's book and tear my tent apart. But
Yeah.
you know,
So you've got a couple of options. You've got the running shoes, like you're wearing them, but they have shoelaces, so that's a thing. So you could break them down and use some shoelaces. They wouldn't be super useful for athletics roles anymore. And then you also have, so you do that, and then you also have flares. Don't forget. So these are also things that can help in your bomb making bomb explodey business. And flares generally like pull tabs and whatnot.
So I'm gonna tear a 1/4-inch strip off of my camo tarp.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
if we use that in the ground, it's going to be less visible. And then we can use that as the tripwire.
Cool.
And then build the bomb out of what we got.
Okay.
Flares. I'll use them both if it'll help.
Yes, it will. So you're going to go ahead and roll crafting, but you're going to do it with advantage. You're going to do it with 2 advantage because you're going to use the flares for it. And I'll give it to you as 2 different advantage things. So you are going to roll. You're going to be trying to get under a 35 with advantage.
All right, here we go. Well, the first roll was a 53, but the second one was a 23. So we'll take it.
Okay, success. So that's enough. You can make your bomb, your tripwire bomb, with the flares. And the bombs that are usually set up with the scientist's special ability, the gear that was left for them is a M bomb. But with the additional flares, we'll go ahead and say it's an E bomb, so it's 1d8 plus 7. That guy's door. That sound reasonable to you?
Yeah, sounds reasonable to me.
Okay, so you've set up this tripwire bomb. Now what do you do? What do you do next?
I'm going to have Graham go back around the corner and get somewhere safe. I'm going to take. Let's see here. Hold on. Probably gonna take my baseball bat and throw it at the barn door in such a way that it hits the door but misses the trap.
Right. So just on the wall, maybe away from where the trap is.
Yeah, on the wall, and yell.
Okay.
Yell, "Hey, Chrome Domes, out here!"
All right. You yell, "Hey, Crumb Domes, out here!" And you hear the gyros moving of the as they turn again, and they start coming toward the door. A metal hand, reaches the edge of the barn door and starts to pull it open all the way. And the bomb goes off. Why don't you roll for me 1d8 plus 7?
Oh, that'll be a 14.
Okay. Where are the... Let's stay there. Okay, 14 you say?
Yeah.
All right, so... Okay, so the bomb goes off. There's flames everywhere. And as the smoke is sort of curling around, all 3 robots step out of the smoke. You see that 2 of them, the smaller ones that were carrying these lighter weapons, they're pretty badly damaged. There's sparks and severed wires, fluid squirting out. Whereas the larger one was definitely injured. You can see that there are chunks taken out of it. But for the most part, it looks totally fine. The other 2 sort of stumble and kind of drop a little bit and catch themselves and start trying to pick themselves up. What do you want to do here? These guys are clearly aware you.
How far away do you think I am?
Say
I turn and run.
You threw the baseball bat. So unfortunately, you're probably at max mid range from the door.
I do have my axe drawn, but that's. I mean, that's. I guess. No. That's drawn. I'm gonna turn and rush the 2 damage spots and try to take the head off of one of them.
Okay, so you rush in. You move the distance toward them, and I'll allow you to go the extra distance, and then you go ahead and swing.
And I roll a 14. Holy crap. Okay, yeah. I roll a 14. And,
cool. So that's an amazing success, right?
Yeah, it is.
Cool. Well, they got a great success, so you totally hit. So go ahead and do your damage.
That's a 9 damage total.
9 total, because you did 2d6 plus 3 or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. 9 damage to the bot. That is enough to kill this bot. So your cut hits directly in some vital part, and it just sparks and collapses. Cool. All right. So that was the surprise. The next, now it goes back to the next action phase. The one larger one with the turret on its back tries to take a shot at you. So it's going to roll an attack, and you're going to roll a dodge because you can only dodge bullets. However, it did not do very well. So never mind. Because
so I don't need to roll the dodge after all?
No, I missed. I assumed it was going to because it's got a really high attack, but it got an 82, which is above its attack. So, it just missed. So the gun shoots wild, and it just goes around the outside of you. The other small one that's sparking goes to take a shot, has disadvantage. Was going to go take a shot at you. However, that's also above it, so never another missed shot. This is the first time robots have ever failed at shooting at people because their attack is so high. So, lucky you.
The bomb did well.
Well, the bomb did a great job giving him disadvantage and stuff. It is now your second action phase. What do you want to do here?
I'll swing at the second smaller bot.
Got it.
See if I can
finish him off too, and then you just have you and the big one?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a 66, which is under my threshold.
So that's a success?
Yep.
All right, 68 to dodge. 68 to dodge is a failure, so you hit.
Thank God. Okay, so 6 plus 3. And that's going to be 7.
7? Cool. That one also does. So you take this one down. How do you break this one down? To the other one. Do you want to take this one down?
I'm gonna after the Gatling gun missed me, I'm going to duck down and swing wildly, and just with both hands, and hit it like just under the servos that are connecting the head. I go for the head as much as possible. So this is what, connecting the servos that connect the head, and just take that right off.
Cool. All right, so the head just goes flying off somewhere. The bot drops to the ground in a big clump of just random component pieces, and there are no more little ones. Thus ends the action phase. It is now the big one with the turret's turn. And okay, it's going to shoot again because that's what it does. Okay, that's a success. So you have to roll great success or higher to dodge this.
Okay. That's a 7. So I'm gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Okay.
good.
So
Yeah, that's an amazing success. So yeah, you absolutely dodge the shots as they come at you. You know, the shot from the gun. Yeah, it misses. Okay, well,
I'm a little surprised by that one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah. Well, it steps around and it's not trying to. It's just trying to jockey for position, and then it gets to shoot again because we're now at the beginning of the next combat round. And so everything resets, and so now it gets to act first. It's going to shoot again. However, got a 93. So that absolutely misses. And now it is your action.
Okay. So you said it was damaged.
Yeah.
Where is it damaged per se?
Just like the armor on its chest plate seems to have been broken off in places.
Okay. So there's spots where it could hit something internal. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see here. Okay. Using trusty axe, I can do called shot.
Yeah, even when you have disadvantage. You still do have disadvantage on the attack, though. That's something to note. Unless you, and here's a trick. This is the trick that I didn't mention before. You can take aim and then do a called shot attack, like because it's just taking aim is just an attack, or I mean, called shot's just an attack. So you can do both. So you can balance it out.
Oh, so I can just take aim at the.
You can take aim and then do the called shot, and then you're just at a regular.
Okay. So I take. Well, okay. So my question now is my my telekinesis. What I'm hoping is, can I combine my telekinesis with the attack? Essentially, meaning I'm mentally pushing the axe head harder as I hit the area to hopefully penetrate deeper.
That is not something anyone's ever asked me before. The telekinesis allows you to lift and move and kind of throw. I wouldn't say that because you're already, if you succeed in this attack, you're already going to bump yourself up to damage codes. So I wouldn't say that it would help you that much. You can only lift like 10 CPs worth of stuff, which is not even a whole person, just a little bit of stuff. So I don't know that it would help too much in the psychic push of your weapon.
Okay, just curious if that would help or
Yeah.
not. All right. Well, so I'll take aim and then I'll hit the spot where the armor has been damaged and I can get into its internals.
All right. Just need to get a great success to get the extra damage. Otherwise, you still hit. Terrible dodge.
That was a 36, so out of it by 1. I'm going to blow another luck point and re-roll that.
Okay, I'll allow it.
And that's a 23.
Okay, yeah, you got it. So bump your damage up to D, yeah. Correct. So it's 2d8 plus 7.
2d8 plus 7. Got it.
Yeah.
$19 damage.
19 damage, eh? Okay, so how does it die?
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, it took
19's
14.
insane from what I just heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
19's pretty big.
I mean, you did 14
Okay.
with a bomb.
That's true. I swing the axe overhead, aiming it for the damaged area. I hit it. It sinks in, and then it hits I'm gonna say it hits like a power cell inside of it that explodes backwards, like behind it. And then the machine just like it lowers its head, and then it gets kind of a sad look on its face as the light just fades from its eyes. And then I look at it and I go, "Well, that was lucky."
Yes, it was.
Easy, not
So you killed.
winning
You have
retort.
killed an Omni Shot, which is one of the more powerful robots. Nicely done.
That's amazing.
Cool. So here's the
More
thing.
like a mono shot.
And it missed a lot. You're lucky it didn't hit you with a bunch of bullets, right? That's the thing too. But
I expected to die, right? In this encounter, I expected to die.
I thought that since it was just you and Graham that, but I was wrong, and the dice were on your. Okay. So now that you've destroyed the robots, you and Graham are free to go in and check out the machine. You discover that it's been damaged by someone or something, and you guys can make the repair. You have all the time you need, and apparently you have a bunch of random metal component pieces hanging out outside that were once robots. So you can like take some from that, and you can go ahead and make the repairs on the psychic resonator counter oscillator thing. So that's going to be what you guys do for the rest of this. We're going to jump to the other guys, see how they handle the other enemies that are hanging around and stuff. We'll jump to them. But that's what you basically cleared up over there, and also can get a bunch of salvage, which we'll get to later. So, jumping to those of you who were on the second floor, how's it going up there? What do you guys do?
I wrote you our plan.
Yep.
So the plan is I've got a tent that I can cannibalize for CP. Tent is for designed for 2 people, so there's plenty of parts, 24 CP worth. I'd like to point out that for a tent like that, there are going to be hollow metal poles. There are going to be there's going to be netting. There's going to be straps that are used that are often bungee cord like because there needs to be some sort of give to go against wind, etc. So I am going to take those parts and I'm going to quietly, with the help of Doc, ask him because I'm going to ask him for a chemical propellant for this. I am going to create a mini little net launcher, and I'm going to launch it at those 2 guys because I want to. I want them alive because we want to question them.
Got it. So you want to question Daxton and the alien thing that's standing there with him.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
So, do you want us to roll our craft checks for
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Sam, I need you to make me a propellant. So you need to do a craft check, and then you can roll a command on me to give me, you can do it for both. So if you want to roll a command for me so I know what my mods are, and then roll a second command when I shoot it.
All right, so command is charisma.
Yes, charisma.
13, which is the highest success possible.
3 degrees. And actually, I just realized something. With your ability to craft, I would actually assist you on the crafting. So you would be ordering me around to help you craft. So you just commanded me to help you. So you're going to roll the primary craft, and I'm going to give you attempt to give you a bonus. I just gave you 2 degrees of success for the crafting. So you get a 10%. Yeah, 10% bonus.
So instinct.
That's going to be your instinct on your crafting, which I believe is 80. So you're going to be 90%.
Okay.
Divided by 2 is 45. So
It's a far
So
way down to double success. I only got a single success.
Yeah, so actually his instinct is 65. So this would put it up to 75.
Oh, then we'll keep with me. Sorry, he's his. I have a better chance than him right now with his bonus. So I have 2 degrees of success.
with science and medicine, he's better than you.
Okay, so I have 2 degrees of success. For crafting. So I crafted the thingy, and then you want to shoot it, and let's see give me a command for the shooting, if you don't mind, Sam.
Another command?
Yes.
She's trying to use you to use the command thing to your bonus.
Sam was asking, when can I use command?
Totally fine.
Well,
totally fine.
Sam typed, when can I use command skill for this? So I'm explaining to him each of these skills. He can give me a different command.
Yeah, you can totally use it each time she does something.
So tell me what bonus I get this time.
So command, I have a command skill, proficient.
Yep.
Charisma.
So it's just charisma straight.
Yeah, you got this, but I didn't give you any bonus.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I made a 3 degrees of success on my own on a 14.
My words worked.
Your words did work. I got it.
Sure.
Use words that work.
17 is my 17 is the benchmark, so I got 14.
Nice. Okay, so you fired this net thing at them, right?
Uh-huh.
I have a backup plan, by the way.
Sorry, what, Sam?
I have a backup plan.
Cool.
Apparently, I can make a explosive knockout bomb.
You can make a gas bomb. You can make a gas bomb, yes.
Okay, so Daxton does not manage to get out of the net as it comes at him. However, the alien did, because the alien rolled super well, like super uber well. And so the alien moves out of the way. And so the net catches Daxton, and he gets knocked to the ground with this improvised net tent thing, not expecting this to have, pegged him to the ground or whatever. And so he's just sort of fighting. It is just sort of fighting inside of it, and they're having trouble getting out. Meanwhile, the alien looks at you, now sees that you're there, and you realize as it starts to come through the door, there's another alien just like it that was also out on the porch that you couldn't see because you didn't go out to look at that. What else was going on the porch? So now you have 2 aliens, and they're coming at you guys. There. Erase the people that aren't here. Nordstrom, you're the first to act because you get to go before these guys.
Okay, so I netted my targets that were talking, right? Now
You netted one. You netted one of the 2 targets talking because the other one got out of the way.
Great.
So
then
one
I
of these.
gotten the murderer, or did I get the murderer?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You got the bandit person thing that was murdered.
Okay.
Simpson.
At this point, then I will shoot. Can you? So this is the alien predator looking thing.
Yeah, there's 2 of them coming through the door. They're one behind the other, so they're in a stack.
I am going to called shot into the mouth of it as it's opening to threaten me and yell at me and such, and growl. So I'm going to called shot into the mouth.
Okay.
And they are at short range right now.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm going to re-roll that. I'm going to luck that re-roll. So 4 luck points left. And that was a good idea. 2 degrees of success.
Okay, it got a 93 to its dodge, so you definitely hit.
Okay. Well, it went from a crit fail to a 2 degrees. That's awesome.
And the 2 degrees is what you needed for the extra damage, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. So I do get the called shot off. So as it's growling and threatening me in an alien language, it goes and shoots into the roof of his mouth. So that brings me from an H to an E, which brings me up to a D8 plus 7.
Correct.
That is 14.
Okay, 14. Let me double check this guy's health and armor. Cool, 14. Yeah, you definitely penetrate. There's definitely some damage there. It has it seems to have taken that, but not quite super affected by it.
Can called shots circumvent armor since I was picking?
Yeah, I went straight to his health points rather than his armor points.
Good. And then for my second, for my second complex, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out that blade that I have, and I'm going to start cutting up the carpet that's in front of me.
Okay. Why not?
Oh, you'll see what
Sure,
I'm doing.
I'll figure it out later. Okay, so
She's gonna make a dress.
Dress the carpet, right?
So the alien creature aims from the doorway. It doesn't move towards you. It just takes an aim, and it shoots something. You haven't counted this before. Negative, though. That isn't a good shot. So that something is an electrical arc of energy that sort of is a ball that bursts past you, goes past both of you, and just sort of hits the wall, creates a electrical burn on the wall.
Okay.
It rolled a 98, so it just completely missed. Oh wait, it had advantage to the game. Nope, still missed. That's an 88. So yeah, that still misses. You guys are fine. Lucky. So that misses. The other one tries the same thing over its shoulder, but has disadvantage because it's trying to shoot over another one. They're both the same height. 81 is not a good shot. So you both have these electro blasts coming past you guys, and then just hit the wall.
Okay.
And now it goes. It's Dax's turn.
Hey, do you want me to try to blow these guys up?
If you want, go for it. Definitely.
I would like to toss a, I guess a stun bomb.
Sure. You'll have to take. So you'll take your action to then create the bomb. Is that correct? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're gonna. Do you want to like duck behind a hallway and stuff? Is your other thing that you're doing?
Yeah. So maybe if I'm at a doorway, kind of turn around and fiddle.
Yeah. You're gonna kind of duck to the side where you're out of line of sight and try to fiddle.
I'm making a bomb.
Yep. Okay, that's fine. That'll be your action. Making a bomb. Okay. Okay, so that jumps to the next action phase for you guys. That puts you, Nordstrom, you get to go first. Again, at the beginning of the second action phase.
Nordstrom?
I am going to... I apologize. Brandon sent me something, so I was trying to do that task. I am going to... you said there's electricity coming out. They're shooting electricity. Are they using something embedded in them, or is it something that they're holding or something like that?
They're holding, yeah. It's rifles that they're holding.
Okay.
They look like rifles anyway. They're holding it with both hands, blasting energy out of it. It's a tool of some kind.
Sure. I am going to... I'm going to shoot the same one, and I'm going to shoot the guy, try and shoot him in the arm. So I'm going to call shot in the arm, because I've got a good chance at this.
A called shot with the arm doesn't require a great success. You just need a regular success to do that.
I do get a regular success. Just barely.
All right, see if he dodges. 67 I don't think is good enough to dodge. No, it is not.
Okay, and I get the 2 degrees. That is 13 damage. And I apologize for the delayed reaction on my part.
13 damage because you shot the... Was it an arrow?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just going to double check. So you do 1d6 plus 3, is that right?
I normally do a d6 plus 3, but with the upped thing, it becomes a d8 plus 7.
Well, a called shot arm doesn't do an upped damage. A called shot arm has a different effect.
Oh, okay. Then let me re-roll my damage. I apologize. That's only 5 damage.
Okay.
What weapon are you using, Alice?
Recurve bow.
So why has her recurve bow got a higher damage than mine, just as a question?
She's bigger than you.
Gotcha. Yeah,
she's her build is 110, which gives her a DC plus 1. Remember the DC mod max thing that we talked about before? She gets that bonus. So her damage is automatically 1 above yours.
Cool.
Yeah. That's the benefit of making bigger characters that use bows versus smaller characters that use bows.
Cool.
This is one of the things. Yeah. The same thing happens with melee weapons, right? Somebody using a combat knife that's smaller just does the 2d4, whereas somebody that's bigger does 1d6 plus 3. Same thing happens. Okay, cool. So you do that, but you got the hit on. So now this alien is lost the use of its arm. So it has to figure out some other way of dealing with you guys rather than shooting this rifle.
Awesome.
That's the effect that the cold shot to like an arm or a leg does.
I'm absolutely happy with that.
Yeah. So another effect happens rather than extra damage. Okay, so the alien soldier, now not being able to use the weapon that it was primarily using, drops it and draws a blade that seems to be made of bone, long bone, maybe a cow leg, but it's been sharpened in a strange fashion. So it's a weird bone blade that it's using. However, because its action was to draw the weapon and move closer to you, it is like closer to you, but it isn't able to attack its actions. The other one, however, takes a shot at you because you're the one in front.
Okay.
It got 12, which is
gonna hurt if I don't dodge it.
Yeah, that's a great success.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Me?
So does that? So
that's an amazing success. You have to
I have to get an amazing success with a 16.
You have to get a
dodge.
critical success in order to dodge
Oh, I have to
this.
beat him by 1 degree.
Yeah.
I don't have to match.
No, matching ties go to the attacker.
Okay.
Which is different than stealth, right? Stealth, they just had to match.
Yes. Stealth is a special
cool.
one.
If I
Yep.
take
No,
a
I swore that we had one that we had to match earlier.
Yeah,
so that's
the
what
stealth
I was
one.
asking.
So when the stealth matches, they still see you. Like, there's no other way to get. But with the attacks, it's got to be higher to dodge it.
If I take a
Cool.
full dodge, and lose that 2 points of initiative, or 5 points of initiative, I guess.
5 points. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 points. I'm already out of initiative this round, so does that hit me for the next turn? For the next
Yes,
round?
it will.
So I will only go once next round.
Correct.
I will not full dodge because it only gives me 4 points. And I'll just
Oh, actually, so hold on. Oh no, we're good.
Okay.
We were on the right.
I almost rolled a D8 and a D10, so let me fix that. Okay.
Alice, I thought you go 3 times in a round.
Yeah,
She
I
does,
do-
but she
I
only
do.
has 2 remaining initiative. She doesn't have enough 5.
Right, so I don't want to lose 2 actions as a result instead of 1. Right now, if I do that,
Right.
I'd lose 2 actions, not 1.
She would need to
failed
borrow
to
3
dodge.
from her next combat round, which would
Yep.
then mean that she doesn't have the 2 on the end of the next combat round.
Yep, so I lose 2 actions as a result instead of 1, which is why I asked if it rolls over. I am, at that point, fail on dodging.
Okay, so this electrical blast hits you square in the chest, and you have to make a resilience special stat roll and tell me how it pans out.
Sure.
You want a great success. That's what you're going to target, a great success. That's what you want.
Math is not in my favor on this one. I will stand by the fact that math is not in my favor on this one. I am a 95 of 7%. So, not happening.
You have to get down to a 7?
I have to get down to a 7 for 3. Oh, you said 3 degrees, right?
I said great success.
Oh,
so 2
I need to
degrees.
get down to a
2 degrees.
15. But still, 95 versus 15. 15% is really low.
Do you want to re-roll that?
Yeah, let's re-roll that. Might as well
Prompting
try.
you to use that. It's a one-shot. Why
Yeah,
not?
it is 1 shot, and I've still got 4 points, so now I've got 3.
Plus, it doesn't matter if it's a one-shot or not, because this thing resets at the
Resets.
beginning of the game session. So.
You know what? I will re-roll one more time. I've got a gut feeling about this time. Can I re-roll
Scott?
multiple times?
No.
No? I can't re-roll multiple times? Okay.
I mean, the game master might be nice. Technically, it doesn't. It says that the second roll has to be accepted in the rules, but game
Oh,
master.
no problem. No, I'm
bend
good then.
that.
I failed the second time around as well.
Okay.
That's not how I remember it.
See, that can happen.
Cool.
That
so
can
you
happen
pop
right there.
one of yours.
That's how that's useful.
I'm
right
down
there.
to 2 remaining.
I got a 14 with Sam's.
There you go. All right.
95,
So-
37, 14. I made it.
What-
Thank you, Sam.
What started to happen was you started to lose consciousness from the electrical energy coursing through your body, but then all of a sudden you were like, I feel fine. And
I
Sam's
feel
like, nah,
fine.
she doesn't. I don't remember her going unconscious.
I don't remember her getting
and-
paralyzed.
I don't remember that. I don't remember her dropping at this point.
In
So-
fact, it's like caffeine plus 3 to your net.
so
Just got a
you,
jolt.
so you're fine. You do not. You just kind of shake off this electric blast.
Okay.
Cool.
Ooh.
Uh,
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, Scott, earlier I think I tried to use my deja vu out of the scene. I think deja vu should be used within the scene.
Right.
This is the scene I'm participating in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. Is I thought you people before. That's why I thought it was fine. Okay. It is now your next action phase, so
Okay.
you can do some stuff. No, it's Dax's. Sorry,
Oh,
it's
okay.
Dax's turn.
Dax, go.
Okay, well, I saw you just shrug off a blast, and apparently there's one coming at you with a sword. One's injured in the background with...
The one with the sword is the injured one. The other one is by the door.
I didn't hear your last.
The one at the door is uninjured at this point in time. It's just the one
Okay.
that's with the sword that's in.
So I made a knockout bomb. Is there a way that I can knock the one out without getting her in the blast, or should I just go for the ones in the back and include the guy in the net?
So the knockout bomb range, I believe, says on your character sheet how far it goes. Let me look real fast. No, it does not. Okay, so I guess it would just be short range. Yeah, that's what bombs do. So you could, in theory, throw it basically at the person at the door, have it go off, and it would hit the two aliens, and not necessarily hit her. If you manage to land it right. If you don't manage to land it right, it will land wherever I determine, and then stuff will happen.
Well, seeing how I have put all my 2 rounds into this action, I better take the action. So I will attempt to do that.
Okay, so go ahead and roll agility and tell me how that pans out.
All right, roll. I am not very good at this.
No, it's why
Maybe-
I was using other people to deliver my bombs.
Right, where is? Am I anywhere near Nordstrom? Since can I hand it off to her somehow?
You could hand it off to her and let her try to do something with it on her next action. Yeah, that's acceptable.
And you can aim as well.
You
You can aim.
Aim
Yeah,
is awesome.
Yeah, but my 30.
Aim gives you advantage, so therefore you've got two percentile tens.
I'll agree, Sam. What Alice was doing was giving it to other people and commanding them. Throw this at him.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
So when I was putting it on people, all of a sudden we had like a 90-some% chance of hitting the bomb. Scott was like, "You broke the mod."
She totally did. She totally broke it.
Well then, since I am a scientist priest, use this holy hand grenade of Antioch to smite your foes.
Okay.
I hand it off to Nordstrom.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
And dodge around the corner again.
Yeah, you hand it off and then dodge.
I have 1 bomb left of material.
Okay. That's cool. So that goes then to the end of the action phases. It goes back. That action phase goes up to the next one. That is you, Nordstrom. You are the next one to act.
Okay. I have one more action this round after this, right?
No, this is the last actions of this combat round. This is the third
Okay.
action phase.
So I want to attach the weapon, attach his grenade to my,
Holy hand grenade.
yes, the holy hand grenade. I'm going to, how big is the holy hand grenade you gave me? Because I was making small chemical bombs and just shoving it into hollow points.
4CX worth, whatever that is about.
Oh,
It's actually quite large.
You put a big one on me. You gave me a big one. Okay.
That's what it takes.
That's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tennis serve using one of my blunt arrows. So I'm going to toss the bomb in the air, use my blunt arrow to projectile it into the location.
Cool. I mean,
And-
you're also pretty good at throwing. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I am.
This
But-
character's great at throwing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I am still better at shooting.
That's fine. You can green arrow it into the location you want to. I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
So what I'm going to do is take my first action to aim and second action, shoot. Let's shoot it. Let's see here. Here's my vantage. Oh, nice! So my high was a 56, but my low is a 16. 16 is 3 degrees.
That's more than enough to hit your target. I was thinking about making it a great success, but I didn't say anything. So
Because what with the penalty? Yeah, I totally get it with the penalty and all. So,
but I didn't say anything, so I was like, well,
3
I
degrees.
didn't speak up fast enough. But 3 degrees, that's fine. You totally nail it just right. So you want to you're tossing it up, and then you want to hit it so it lands where you wanted it to go, right?
Exactly.
So in this weird way of not doing it directly because you wanted to go round the guy, basically you wanted to toss it over him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You successfully drop it right at the feet of the guy at the door. It goes, and this gas comes out. All right, these are their rolls. Let's see what happens. Okay. That's not a good roll.
I'll accept that.
So one of them ends up breathing in the fumes. I guess it will be the one by the door, and it drops. However, the one with the blade rolled a 001 critical
nice.
success to avoid being knocked out, which is fine. That was enough. The other one, however, did not. He got knocked out. That unconscious thing happened. So you just have the one to deal with now, and it's the one with the blade. It is, however, the one that's standing right next to you. And
Next
it is
to me.
its
Okay.
Yep. It is its turn to act. Let's see if it chops you with the blade. No, that is a really high number. That is a 77. It is not below its threshold to attack, so it misses on its attack.
Can I luck something to adjust the combat situation?
Sure. What do you want to do?
What I'm trying to do is basically luck and say, because we were described as, them being off the balcony of a bedroom, and we were hiding on in the furniture and under furniture. I basically want to basically be maneuvering at, this is a constant move of I'm dodging, he's attacking, and so I see his big swing coming. It's no longer the fake. I'm gonna basically try and shift my body to make it to dodge, so that he hits lands that blade in the headboard.
Sure, yeah, the wall or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, all out.
Okay, so let me luck that roll. That is a 46, so that's 1 degree of success, just barely.
Yeah, it's enough to make it happen. He hits the wall.
Awesome.
Yeah. All out. It's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. That ends the combat round, and then starts the next one. It is your action, Nordstrom.
Okay, so I am now going to so I'm going to basically see this is you said he's using a blade, right?
Correct.
Okay. And did the electricity ever come back on?
No one turned it on.
Oh.
No one repaired it.
Oh yeah, because we were going to the generator. Darn it, so the plant doesn't work in the end. But that's fine. I'm going to use my other one. I am going to basically say that the way that I've been positioning him, since I've actually, actively positioned him, is right over the piece of carpet that I cut. And so I want to use my foot to yank it back and rip it as I'm shooting diagonally downwards at him, called shot right into the torso where I saw like a chink in his armor.
Okay, still a called shot, but I'll give you that his disadvantage on his dodge because he's falling backwards kind of deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
And the first action of mine would the ripping the carpet out with my foot be a complex action in your mind?
Yeah, it'd be a complex action. It would be like a movement, but it wouldn't require any dice rolls.
That's great. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure because, don't want to waste an aim if I had one. 28 is my hit, so I get 2nd degree of success.
Okay. Yep, that hits him. That hits him.
Awesome. And I did called shot to the chest. Is that bonus damage or not?
Yeah, that's a vital area.
14 damage.
14 damage. Okay, so you get right in that chink and dig in a little bit more with your arrow, so it pierces him.
Yep, I'm running low on arrows.
You are. He's really badly injured. This second arrow definitely got all up inside of him. Some green goo is leaking out of underneath his chest, and it's leaking out of his mouth too, but it's a lot more under his chest. He does not look so hot. The armor, however, is mostly intact. It's a crazy thing. You're managing to get around it.
Jammed it. Cool.
Yeah. However, it's so it's on the ground because it fell from your action.
Yep.
It is going to try to get up. It's going to try to make an athletics roll instead of wasting its time. And it does not. So it spends its entire action trying to get up because of this whole moving carpet thing, hindering terrain business. And that puts it over to Dax. It's your action.
Really,
there's this whole.
I can move in hinder terrain without a problem, so I make hinder terrain to make it.
You totally
easier.
can. You can just parkour around it. Just be like, nope, I don't care.
That's why I was cutting the carpet.
I get it now. Dax, it is your turn.
Yeah. I would like to try to give Nordstrom some sort of advantage with a command ability.
Yeah, the command ability gives bonuses to the stats so that she can get a higher, have a higher number to get a success, which does increase the chances of great success and an amazing success.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she'll take him out in this round. So
I don't believe you have to use it as your. Well, you can still have an attack because it's one of your two complex actions.
Yeah, you can give the command and still attack at the same.
Yes.
Okay. Nordstrom, you're awesome. You got this, girl. And then I'll throw my improvised punch. So
well, you do have a gun,
Yeah, I only got 3 rounds. I'm gonna save it. I think we got this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just throw my weighty priest arm in there.
Okay. So go ahead and roll the command to find out how much.
Roll your brawl.
Yeah. Then we'll roll your brawl and see how you do.
Yeah, roll the command first. That's true.
Command is ought to.
Ooh, nice. That's 3 degrees.
15 to you.
Yep.
Nordstrom.
That's nice.
And a 10 on my brawl.
That's also really nice. That's a great success, my friend. This person has got some problems because they're moving, and none of the options here were. So you hit.
It was
light damage.
Just a fluff hit, by the way. My damage for unarmed. What is that?
Light.
An L.
1d4.
1d4.
Now, Brawl is multi-attack 2. What does that mean?
So with Brawl, you can choose to attack twice in a combat round because you're using both hands. But when you do the second hit's at disadvantage because you're moving.
Yeah, so one complex action to attack the first time, the second complex action to attack the second.
Yeah, you can do 2 attacks with your fists, but they're light damage in most cases, so it's not super helpful. Except in this case, how much did you do?
2. Now tell me how armor works.
So armor takes the damage before the person. So if you're wearing armor on your body, it takes the damage before you take the damage.
Or
so it goes away.
DR?
It drops. It's not. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's not damage reduction. It just drops the armor. So the armor takes damage, and when it's at 0, it needs to be repaired, which is where you would come in because you can repair it in the combat round and keep people's armor at least at 1 constantly.
Okay, I got you.
So that you're sort of helping out all the time. But anyway, you do hit it, but you hit its armor, and so you do damage to its armor. You crack it a little bit because it's chitin armor, but
yeah,
didn't quite knock him out.
Not enough. I mean, it's pretty damaged, but the armor itself is still perfectly intact. So, but it was a nice, solid hit.
It was a heroic moment.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now it's Nordstrom's turn. Nordstrom, what are you gonna do?
So I'm going to backflip back, grab onto the chandelier, and I'm gonna pull myself up, hang my legs, and I'm gonna shoot this guy while I'm upside down, and at this point, my angle that I'm seeing is basically, you said that he was trying to get up and he failed earlier, so his legs are.
I mean, he was standing-ish by the time that's what he did his whole time.
Yeah, so he was getting up, and so basically at this point, I've got a shot to the groin, so called shot to the groin, hanging upside down on the chandelier.
Well, it's an alien. You think it's an alien groin. It would be a human groin that you're shooting at.
It might be the knee.
It could be the knee, yeah. So I'm going to do the alien groin, though, because there seems to be a good part on where that... that probably isn't his groin, because they've got a chink in the armor there.
So, Nordstrom, how did you become an expert on alien groins?
Because of temporal issues. I got 2 degrees of success because of the modification.
Because of the 15, yeah.
Yep. 2 degrees.
Okay. So it does not get 2 degrees. It gets 1 degree of success on the dodge. So that is a hit.
Okay. And let's see here. That is 12 damage.
12 damage. Okay, so
I've done 26 to him.
this is dead. He is dead because you keep bypassing the armor. So you kill this thing with what you consider a grunt shot.
Great shot. So, between the legs, right up between the legs.
It just goes between the legs. Enough of the green goo just spills out of it, and it just topples over in its own green goo.
Glad I could distract it for you.
Oh, Doc, you did great. Thanks. So at this point, the 2 prisoners we have, we're going to drag downstairs, tie them to chairs so we can question them once Graham and, all the party is gathered. Graham and Randall. I want Randall there.
And looking at the time, I realize that there's one more combat to... What I think what we're going to do with it is that when the alien invader, that's what this one is called. It was a soldier upstairs, invader downstairs. When it gets to the bottom of the stairs, because you were hiding, just a whole little thing happens, and I'm just gonna hand wave that you kill it in the process of fighting it.
Okay.
I was gonna try and talk to it.
Oh, you were?
Totally. I don't know why all these people are all of a sudden murder happy.
No, I was prisoner happy.
If we want to do that, we can roll it. Let's do it.
That's at least what I was going to start off with. That's the reason I didn't take a shot at him. It's so far,
okay. Go for it, Brandon.
Let's do it then. Let's do it. Let's do this interaction.
We have decapitated nobody. They have.
Well, somebody has. We don't know who it was. It could have been Peppa.
Still have that, yeah. Okay, so go ahead and try to charm.
So yeah, as it's coming down the stairs and all, and it's about to see me. I've pushed out the Lorraine and Adrian out of the room, and so far I haven't seen hostile action from this. And from what I understand, this is happening right about the same time that the fight outside and the fight upstairs is going on.
Yep, exactly.
And so I do have the bow in hand, but similar to the shotgun, it's not aimed at him. It's not currently drawn taut or anything like that. And so I just, greet him with a smile and all. And I'm like, "How you doing, governor?"
And you have advantage because you brushed your teeth.
I did brush my teeth. Okay, so I've got a success, but I'm hoping for a better. Now, if I luck, do I reroll the advantage as well? Or do I pick one of those to reroll?
Yeah, just go ahead and reroll it all.
Okay. Well, I still only got 1 degree of success, but that's a 34, so.
That's fine. It failed on its resolve to resist your charm, so it says in a weird language, but you get this psychic understanding of what it's saying, because it's got a whole lot of psychic abilities. And you can get from its speaking that it's responding to you and saying, hello, I guess.
Understand from folks smarter than me that there's a storm that might have brought you here. Can we help you get home?
Storm? No. The one up there offered all of you to us for parts.
God?
No, the one with the face, with the strange skin that we don't want.
Oh. Well, all these parts are spoken for. We're still using them. Out that way, about 200 meters, there's parts all over. I don't know if you'd want them or not, though.
Are you talking about the dead ones?
Yeah, the decayed ones, yeah.
We don't want those parts. We need living organic tissue. Do you offer
for what?
a trade in place of yourself?
Well, the living generally have, living to do, so I don't think we're going to be trading that.
Do you not have one amongst you that you would offer, like he did?
I couldn't speak for anybody. I mean, what are you going to do to them for these pots?
What do you use parts for?
Making something better?
Exactly.
And it starts to like get its gun ready.
Okay, at that point, I'll pull up the bow and we can go to the combat. Which, because of time, we're going to hand wave a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna hand wave it. So I mean, the truth of the matter is the invader's actually a better fighter than the soldier. The soldier's mostly there to take damage. So this fight might not have gone in your favor, but I'm hand waving it to like you had like the books and stuff. You managed to get enough hits on it. It doesn't have as much life though, so like you could kill it faster than they did with the other ones upstairs. One thing that you do discover when you're fighting it, however, is that each time you hit it, there seemed to be like a psychic energy surrounding it. It has psychic armor. You broke that down after a bit, and you were able to get some hits in on its actual like body, which is what killed it. But it was like, for a moment, you almost thought that you weren't going to make it out of this with all the weird energy that kept flowing around it. And like, just
luckily, I read comic books, and so I do get extra resistance against psychic stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you end up killing that thing. Pretty, just narrowly you get by. Cool. So everyone has managed to kill off the things that were kill off or capture everything happening around you. What do you guys do at this point to get to the end of this situation?
Like I said, I've got them. We've got them tied up in a chair. When Graham and Randall come back in, I start slapping the murderer, the little guy, and wake him up.
Yep.
Well,
okay. Daxton wakes up.
Okay. I've got my arms crossed in front of me, and I'm trying to look as menacing as I can, and look at him angrily, and just ask him how. And I like try and like beef up my voice to try and sound intimidating, which I kind of fail at because I'm just a teenager. But I'm like, just ask him how many I killed. You're gonna want to answer my friend's questions. Try and look menacing as best I can.
How many got killed? Lots.
No, I mean how many I killed personally. And I won't hesitate to kill you. So I'm trying to intimidate him.
Okay.
To try and basically let the rest of my friends do better at it. And I'm worried that I'm not going to do very well looking at my chances. I rolled exactly the same number on all three dice. 50, 50, and 5. So, yeah, I failed.
Okay.
I don't understand. I guess we lost.
And Daxton tries to look over. Do you have the alien in the same room that you've captured?
Uh-huh. And and I wanted to drag the dead guys that I had plugged with arrows down to show him, to make him scared that I'm cool. And then I would like to try and recover the arrows.
Okay, go ahead and roll salvage to find out how many.
Sure thing. None.
That's how many.
I apparently got angry and stabbed them in deeper because I rolled 0, 0, 0.
You did special green arrow style attacks, and
I did.
Yeah.
I rolled 100, so the arrows were broken.
They're all shattered. Even if they were you pulled it out so hard that it just snaps as you.
I'm part of my intimidation technique. Yank! Oh shoot! I was part of my intimidation technique.
Daxton looks over the alien. And...
Yeah, you'll probably want to kill him before he wakes up.
Should I do that to you too?
If you want, or you can let me go.
It sounds like you need to be bartering for your life right now.
You could take my things and send me out into the wilderness. It's the wasteland. I'll survive.
So, what'd you do to bring him here? Why'd you bring him here?
They give me parts, component pieces if I turn over all of you. They have no need for metals. They don't need component pieces. So why not give up you who don't matter to get what I need to survive?
And what do they do with us?
Well, they use you. First off, the meat is tasty. And secondly, they use the bones to make weapons. And sometimes they use the sinews and the brains, various things that they have. How do you think they have any of their weapons at all?
And Daxton sort of looks at the blade that's still wedged in the wall.
I just look pretty horrified.
Doc, can I have one more bomb, please?
It's my last one.
Make it a chemical one.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in the mouth of the alien that's unconscious so that if he wakes up and starts to mess with stuff, it'll blow him up.
All right, you're basically gonna blow him up if he wakes up.
I'm booby trapping him. Yeah.
Just move him away a little bit.
Yeah, I'm booby trapping him.
Put him out on the porch. That'll help you guys. It'll be fine. It'll be outside. All right. So, how do you guys want to deal with Dax then? Finish this.
That's a
well, we're in somebody else's house is kind of my thought.
yeah. That's why I said I
think
wanted
too.
Graham here because my thought is Graham
Ah,
and
got it.
Randall. You know.
Involve the other people in
Yep.
it.
Right. Obviously, Graham is not enthused with the idea that Daxton was going to turn his family over to aliens for organic parts. However, he's also not the murdering kind, so he doesn't necessarily want to like kill him. So, best solution would be to blindfold and drive him out to the middle of nowhere and then drop him off and hope he doesn't figure out how to get back. But if he does come back, completely take all this stuff. That's obvious. But if he does come back, then, snipe him off in the distance before he gets to the house.
Okay, well, I vote Randall drives. I feel safe with Randall driving.
Cool.
Well,
Alright.
before we all do that, we should repair the generator.
Oh, yeah. So story-wise, the house, like, you guys have more than enough time to repair the house and get it back in order, get the wires connected and stuff, especially with your tech skills. You can easily, like, the family is super happy that you guys helped out, and they're not afraid of, like, they're not worried about you guys trying to steal their stuff now, because if you wanted them dead, you would have just let them get taken by the aliens and would have just left. So they trust you more.
We saved
so
their lives.
You're welcome to stay in the house for a while. It's probably not going to last nearly as long as it would have if you weren't there, because the food will run out much faster now. But you can stay for a little while and you can help them rebuild.
Yeah, help
and
them
you can
rebuild.
also take this guy out and drop
But
him
very
in the middle of
important. What about Adrian and Colby? Because look at what Colby did, and Adrian got to witness Colby take down an alien all by himself.
It was heroic too. I mean, there was
so
like
heroic. He
slow
saved
motion
Adrian.
jumps with the bow.
Yep.
And...
Oh yeah, absolutely. Adrian is totally impressed. So if you want to make that a thing, that's absolutely fine. Because now she you are the knight in shining armor business that before. Sure, you're a little smelly and you're a little strange, but I mean, you killed an alien by yourself.
Right?
That's
There
pretty
you go.
impressive. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, cool. And so that ends the Maximum Apocalypse adventure known as The Home.
Awesome.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes. Before we disconnect, do we want to do a quick feedback? Anybody? Everybody? Sound good?
Yeah, sorry. Man, this was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed the system, and you're a great DM. That was super fun. This was I wasn't sure what to expect, and yeah, man, this was a great time.
Awesome. Sam, what about you?
Yeah, I really like the way you laid out the character sheets. Where I need to find stuff is well laid out. If this is a one shot, I would have appreciated having some CP. I started with no CP. Now I understand.
You have some. It should be on the second or the third page up here.
Not everybody has some.
I
Your
thought
character
that
should.
character had 4.
Yeah, his character should start with some.
Okay, I
Yep.
will double check that. I must have again. So the scientist is a little goofy because somehow I saved over the character sheet that had all of the gear on it, so I had to recreate it on the fly before Monday. So
Mine,
I
yeah, it should have.
might have messed it up. Yeah, I can add 4 to it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had enough to start with a bomb or two. I know that because when I started, I was
Well,
like,
well,
oh, I have enough.
that's raw chemicals.
Yeah, you already had
Oh,
that.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just meant more other CPE to use for stuff.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
had
but
4.
I really love the survival aspect to it. I have not played anything like this before.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Brandon,
Cool.
what about you?
I had a great time. You obviously saw me playing the other day. I like the mechanic on the increasing successes. It benefits characters that are specializing or focusing on something to give them an easier time on getting those increased successes, rather than just simply like if you've got a lucky roll. That it's that's where the focus is on a lot of games that I deal with. I love the different couple of special abilities that we each get, even though I didn't really get to use any of mine this time. I failed my one salvage roll that I was trying. I decided not to try and rob the house blind, which was super in the character write-up that we're given. The fact that every piece of equipment of yours does something, and is something that I do like a lot. So I had fun. I'd do it again.
Sweet.
As for me, the first time that I pugged you up for a table, I was like super happy and impressed with the fact that every single piece of equipment had a function. And then when I described the character image that I had in my mind and how he had a little cigar nub, you gave me a cigar and suddenly it was doing something, and I was just making use of all that. As someone who likes to be very resourceful in games, I think that you've noticed that in the few times you encounter me.
Yeah.
A game like this just hits the spot for me because it allows me to be resourceful, take stuff, and just be, take understanding of what things would be and make something of it. And I think that the way that the dice rolls mechanics work in this game, it feels less bell curvy and less jumpy than D20 rolls, which a lot of times percentiles don't feel less up and down. They actually feel more so. But I think that the degrees of success and the way that advantage and disadvantage works in this game help that a little bit more, and it feels more like a multi D6 game on that flow of success. So, but yeah, I have a lot of fun with the system. I've only gotten to play it a little bit, but I am excited to see where this goes.
Cool.
I also have feedback on Deja Vu.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you. It depends on how powerful you want. It seems pretty powerful to me, like super powerful. Maybe consider spending 2 luck to re-roll any roll.
Well, you have to realize the rest of us have like 5 or 6 luck of our own. So you only have 5 luck. You're spending 1 of those on us. That's a big resource.
6.
You've got 6.
Have 6 luck.
I start with 5 of my own. I know that at least one other character at this table has 6 that they start with. So you are cutting your pool down significantly. Brandon starts with 6 of his own. So you're cutting your pool down significantly whenever you're using it on somebody else. I actually looked at that and felt that was pretty balanced when I was playing that character.
Okay.
So.
I think this is just first time playing. I think someone would feel that out over many play sessions.
Yeah, and it has been used pretty extensively by the people that have it. But it also it's part of what lends to the pulpy aspect of the game, where you feel like you're doing a lot more action, because it's like when the big stuff's happening, the person with deja vu is like, I'm gonna help. And I'm going to make that work the way we want it to.
That's basically I helped. My whole fist in the face didn't do much.
So, but yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. I think that the idea behind it was to make it so that you could do what you did.
It's definitely a fun ability.
Yeah, it's definitely one of your major powers. And you've got, where I've got 5 of my own to use on myself. You only start with 6, so it's not that big. Well, Scott, do you have any feedback for us, or are we good to close?
I mean, I think that you guys all did a really good job of trying to feel out the game and like role play. This was a great table. This was a great session. Thanks for being there, guys. Like, thanks for doing all this stuff, because there were definitely some moments, as you might have noticed, with my face being like, where you guys challenged me yet again to figure out how something would work in the game. So, thanks so much for that.
thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming on to BWK and joining us and GMing. And have a great day, everyone, or night, wherever you are. Bye.
All right.
Adios.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank